Really? Really? Oh, this should be fun. I love how I changed nothing and the cameras all decided to quit working. That's super fun. I didn't check any of this beforehand, figuring, oh, sure, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But of course, there's clearly a huge problem. So, no, there's no lens cap on it. I had all this stuff set up before I went to dinner. Give me a minute. I'm working in studio mode, which means weird crap might happen. So, pardon me. God bless it. Pardon me a moment while we come down here and look at weird things. There's like no reason that this camera should have quit working. And yet, here we are. Hey-oh, look at that. All I had to do was cycle it. This is what I get, right? This is what I get for taking like 8 months and not streaming in this room. I forget how to set it all up. I forget how to set it. It's like, I came in here about 5 o'clock, or about 2 hours ago. And I was like, how do I do this? So I'm setting up cameras and everything. I got so pissed off last summer. I bought a new piece of, yeah, I know you phoned him. And that's why I was like, okay, I have to find the right scene to cycle the camera because I have the camera. I won't explain it. Anyway, once I'm live, doing that little bit of extra troubleshooting is a bit of a hassle. When I'm not live, it's just a matter of clicking the right buttons. It's super easy. But last summer, I bought a new piece of audio hardware to help me level the mics out. Eventually, the plan is to have 4 people around this table playing games. I am very loud. Okay, I am naturally, my voice projects. I have a lot of volume. It's been a huge problem sometimes when I've gone up to Wargaming to cast stuff up there. So I wanted a piece of hardware that would allow me to level the mics individually. I could bring up quiet people, bring my voice down, right? And I didn't want to have to spend an hour with it. And I found a piece of hardware that I was able to put in. And there's a little, like, you basically, there's like a 2-button thing, you go through it and it automatically goes through and seeks the right level for the individual microphones. Brilliant, it works great. The problem was when I took that out, when I added that in and took out the old setup I had for the microphones, I was only getting mono microphone now to the computer. Whereas before I ran XLR to USB, basically the XLR receiver mics you guys can't see them, they're off camera here, I'll cheat, okay? Over here, this little orange light you see in the background, this guy tucked in under here, that's my belt pack mic receiver. It's one of them. There's 2 belt pack mic receivers in the room. Okay, that's one of them. Originally, that was set up with a USB inlet, and it fed the machine directly. And then I ran everything through an audio set called Voice Meter Potato, I think, or Banana, whichever one. I've got one of the voice meters. And that worked. It worked brilliantly. But when I added a new piece of hardware and now I went XLR to XLR, that rounded up everything, and I fed a single USB feed in. It was just like I wasn't getting stereo microphones anymore. What is happening? And I got so pissed off I walked away from the room for like 6 months. That's kind of how bad I am at this sometimes. I kept using it as an excuse to not come back down here. Finally, about 3 weeks ago, many of you guys know Seven, fellow Warship streamer, super awesome dude. They were playing The Expanse on the weekend. It was great. He's done music setup. If you guys have seen his stream, you've seen his setup, right? His setup is crazy. So I pinged Seven. I was like, okay, look, I'm having this problem. I want some help. And he says, sure. So we set up a time to like do a Discord call. So I came down in here for the first time in like 6 months and was like screwing around with the setup. And I changed like 2 things and suddenly it was like, wait, what? This works. Is it really that simple? Now he wasn't able to make the meeting, but I pinged it back and I said, I think I've solved my own problem. So tonight is going to be proof of concept. So guys, I'm gonna tell you straight up, tonight may be a little rough, okay? Stuff may go wrong. I spent almost 2 hours getting everything set up in here because I'm so out of practice. I had to get OBS set up. It was a hassle. But I was like, no, I need to get back in the saddle or I'm going to keep using it as an excuse not to do it. I almost talked myself out of this on the weekend. You guys can't see it, but the floor in here, right? I've got cables that go all over the place, up and over, okay? And as a result, I have some very nice cable channels to cover them up to make it so there's less of a tripping hazard. And then I put Velcro on those so that they wouldn't come off the carpet if somebody, kicked one over or something. Well, that's made a bit of a mess. The adhesive on the back of that little peel and stick Velcro, those have like slipped off and now the adhesive is smeared into the carpet. I've got to get in here. I've got to strip the whole room out and shampoo the carpet. I almost did that on Saturday and I was almost going to use that as an excuse to why I wasn't going to be in here tonight. But I was like, no, let me push that off the next weekend. Let me get in here tonight, get back on the horse, get something done in here, feel a little better about myself. And then finally, we can get back to doing things. So yeah, so we're back in Studio C. Tonight, guys, it's gonna be. It'll come out, Ching. I'll get it out. Don't worry about that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get down with some stain remover and I'll get it out. I'll scrub it out eventually. I'm not worried about that. It's not like permanent damage to the carpet. It's like getting a little bit of like glue in the carpet, right? I'll get it out. I'm not worried. Tonight we're going to be working on miniatures for a game called In Too Deep. It's right here on my right shoulder. This is a game that's been out a couple of years now, I think. The Kickstarter for this, when did this go live? I was looking at the Kickstarter page a minute ago. I was trying to figure out when this all started happening. When was this? Last updated January. Yeah, so I've had this game on my shelf for about 2 years. I feel like I backed this one back in 21. Fulfillment looks like it was right around 2 years ago. Who was that? Electric with the resub. Thank you much. When was the original campaign? I don't know. And original campaign was probably early 21 or late 20, right? And I backed a lot of board game campaigns in 2020. 2020 was the year I discovered Kickstarter board game campaigns. Up until then, I didn't know they existed. And then suddenly it was like, whoa, my eyes were open to this whole new world. So I backed this one because it looked interesting. It's a cyberpunk theme, and I have 10 miniatures that I've got to work on that represent the various player characters that you can choose in the game. Now, what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to get down. I have not pulled any paints yet. I'm going to show you the miniatures so you can see them all. And then we can talk about what it is that we want to try and work on. I know what I would prefer to do to kind of get back into it. I'm very out of practice. It's been probably almost a year since I've been in here and painted anything. So it's going to be a rough night, one way or another. But I gotta get started again. I got a million things to work on. Okay, so let me show you what we got. So the first miniature, this guy is called. Get him on here. He is called the Smuggler. He's supposed to be, well, I can show you his card. I'm trying to look at this here. He's mostly kind of blacks and grays, maybe a little bit of silver in there. Very shadowy, right? He's obviously got a big box of something on his back there, all right? We have the Mechanic, which is this chica here with the giant wrench. Is Ginger here? Ginger is not here. Ginger's upstairs. If she wants to come join, we'll get her in here. We'll get her a mic. We'll figure it out. They were asking if you were here in the studio with me, and I had to tell them, no, you were not.
No, I was on the phone with my mom.
That's right. Mom was on the phone, so there you go. So we have the Mechanic, and then we have the Jumper. This is like kind of crazy. I don't know what that's all about, but she's got like a rocket. Oh, she's got like a jetpack on. Check that out. Okay, yeah, she's got like a jetpack. That might be a fun one to start with, just because I don't think she'd be all that complicated. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. All right, then we have, who is this? The Ghost, very ninja looking. Very black and purple, I think that guy will be when the time comes. At least his card looks that way. So I'm kind of leaning towards the blacks and the purples. Another one in probably some black and purple is this guy. This one's called the Scourge. Looks like a magic user. When you see the artwork, and I'll show you the artwork for these as we go. She's got like glowy purple hands. I'm not even sure how I would paint that precisely. I have to figure that out. But yeah, something along those lines. Andrew, to answer your earlier question, yes, I did. I forgot to answer when I was busy. I was busy talking about other stuff at the time, so I apologize. This dude has like all the guns. He's called the Disruptor. I can't tell if that's a grenade launcher. I think that's a grenade launcher, actually. I think with the giant belt there, he's carrying a grenade launcher. It's quite impressive, honestly. All right, what else we got? Let's see. We've got this dude. Who is this? The Persuader. Yeah, he's got like a whip or something. He kind of looks persuasive, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. The one that I'm probably looking forward to painting the most is this guy. He's called the Fixer. When I show you the art for this one, he's fun because he looks like he's in a business suit. It's like a white business suit with like this big silver throw. I'm kind of like, that's kind of fun. I kind of like him. And then we have, this is the Sprinter. She looks like she's got things on her feet. You know, like when they the disabled guys that do like that have the little curved feet things. That's what she's got. But she's not like, she has her feet, but she's using those to like augment her natural stride or her natural ability there.
I had those in one of the Portal games.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Okay. Okay. And then the last one, there's only 10 of these guys, which is one of the reasons I kind of wanted to start with this game, because I felt like it would be a little easy for me to kind of wrap my brain around and make some progress. This dude is the Drone Jack. He's actually leaning over a little bit, like I think maybe he got a little warped somewhere along the way. I'll have to work on that one. What's up? What's up, M Captain? Or I should say Valkyrie, the new branding, the new name. So this guy is very simple, I think. He's mostly black and red. I think for me, just to kind of get some wind in my sails, I think it's either gonna be this one or the Jumper. The Jumper, I think, is probably the easiest one. Let me come back to here and let me see if I can find some artwork for you. Because it'll be easier for me to put it up and you'll actually be able to see it. So that when I show you the screen, you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I saw that earlier. There's all the miniatures, yeah, cards, yeah. Come on. This is probably not gonna help me. No. Okay, so let's see. If I come back here and I just do this and maybe, and then let's do a search for some images. Yeah, nope, nope. Okay. All right, so apparently I should have done more research to help get you guys fixed up with the artwork. So that's on me. I gotta figure that out, apparently. But the version of the game I bought comes with these beautiful minis instead of the little cardboard stand-ups you would ordinarily get. So we have to, yeah, they're pretty awesome. The figurines look great. So my problem is that I'm painting them, and my painting skills are rudimentary at best. I'm getting better slowly. I'm slowly over time getting better. That's about all I can say. So we're gonna make some effort. I think I'm gonna start with the Jumper. Let me. There's probably no really good way. I think maybe the tight view. If I show you that, you can sort of start to see if it'll focus. There it goes. So she's got kind of like a black and some kind of pale blue looking thing. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do, because I can probably find the right colors to get started with that. And then the black, as long as I'm careful with the black, I'll be able to get a good result in the end. If the lighter colors get splashed around in a couple of places, that's not that big a deal, because I can always just cover it up with the black later on.
But it also means you have to be more careful with the black one.
It means I have to be very careful with the black when I go to put it on. And these, you know what I'm realizing that I didn't get down that I should have is my magnifying glass. I'm going to need that thing. And yes, Ginger's in the room now, but no, she is not mic'd, so sorry, fellas. No, just hand it here. It plugs in there to the table because it's USB. Huh?
No idea what that
Oh, they came out of a box. I just kept them because I figured they might be handy somewhere along the way. I have this weird habit, like my grandfather, of keeping random bits that just don't seem to have a purpose, but I keep them anyway.
Yeah, so
Yep, that's exactly right. I think I've told the story before of my grandfather. Hang on, I gotta find the USB hub. He had a whole bloody barn full of just stuff, you know. Well, no, it was the barn and the Quonset hut, right? Yeah. But he just had so much. Okay, I gotta get down on one knee. He had spare bits for all kinds of stuff that he would never need, right? I'll never forget the conversation. Yeah, there she is. I'll never forget the conversation that he had with my dad about the spare wooden hammer handles, right? That's the example I always use, right? He had a bucket of, like, he bought like a dozen or 15 spare handles for like a hammer, like a regular hammer you'd beat nails with. Beautiful, wooden handles. Well, you never know when you're gonna break a handle, and they were like a nickel a piece, so I just bought a bunch. It's like, how often do you break a handle on a hammer? Like never. Like never. So, okay, let's try this thing. And then, okay, so that's as bright as it goes, and then I can change colors. Okay. I'm gonna need this because my eyes are not amazing.
sucks getting old.
Well, it's more that, I mean, can you see all the detail on her? I can barely see it when I get it up to here, and the closer I get it, the harder I have a hard time with it. So that makes it much, much easier. The question becomes, am I going to be able to keep my hand steady enough to actually do it correctly?
The little handhold things. Rubber things.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, to put it lightly. Okay. Well, let me pick some colors here. Yeah, I saw that Lynx had bought it. I'm not surprised. There's a lot of outfits out there that aren't going to make it. Let's see. What is she? She's like...
Which one is Lynx?
Oh, they're one of these low-cost carriers. They didn't have a whole lot going for them. Yep.
Looks kind of green.
That's why I picked this color. I'll show them the colors in a minute. And then I need some fairly dark black.
Okay, yeah, that's a good.
Black, or this is...
Are you gonna do any highlighting?
Not in this pass, but maybe eventually. I'm just pulling stuff off the shelf to kind of figure out what I'm going to do here. I'm going to need the white. Gonna need the white for her hair, I think.
Hair like storm.
Yeah, she's got like storm-colored hair. And then... Gonna need something for her flesh tone, which is kind of darkish. Let's see what I can find here. Let's go... I don't want to go crazy dark. Got two options there, maybe. All right, we'll try some of those. Luckily, she doesn't. I don't have to go crazy with the flesh. There's not the only flesh you see is kind of around her face, and even then, where the art's done, she's got like big metal attachments on the side in her hair, so you only see kind of like this, right? There's not much there. They had a bad business model. Well, that's not shocking. That's not shocking at all. That's not shocking at all. No, and of course, this camera took a crap too. All right, excellent. Give me a moment. Give me a moment to solve this problem.
Oh, did it go to sleep?
They all seem to. I had to reboot OBS at one point, and when that happened, they seemed to all take a dump. There we go. Problem solved. They just check. While I'm here, I might as well just go and check them all. So the regular cameras did fine. It was just the 4K cameras that took a dump. Okay. So right now, let's see. Okay, so the lamp is actually not in the way. This is actually a pretty smart setup because I can paint here. You guys can't quite see what I'm up to. Let me try and do maybe something like this. Now the question is, from the side view, that's complete trash. So that view is going to end up being not very good tonight, unfortunately. But okay, now so now I've got some stuff picked out, and let's see. So what I'm going to do is we'll talk about the colors. I've got those two for sure. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with which black do I want here. This one's got a little blue in it. I like this one better.
Yeah, it seems to pair
Well,
pretty well.
this occultist black has got just a little blue in it, and it also kind of has more of that synthetic. Like she looks like all the attachments and stuff she's got all over her are like. It's like she's wearing like the bodysuit is this green color, but then she's got like black armor pieces on top of that, and this looks more like metallic than this does. So we're gonna put that one aside.
Well, and you can dry brush some metallic.
Yeah. And then what do I want for a skin color? I think that's gonna be too light.
You could also take that and add a drop of black.
Yeah, the problem is, yeah, I could. I just don't like this color. I don't like this shade of brown. I don't like either of these. The white, so these three I'm set on. That's what I need for her, but I gotta figure out what am I gonna do for the brown. You can barely make out her skin color. And to be frank, it doesn't have to be that, it's not that big a deal.
You should do.
You like
this
that one?
Probably, and if you test it on something and decide it's not dark enough, add black.
Brutally honest, it's probably close enough to be good to be going on with. Yeah, she's right here, Xanda. Yeah, I could swing the lamp around. I guess that would probably be the smart thing, wouldn't it? Let me give it a shot. Woo!
Just be careful you don't trip over the cord.
I'm not worried about that. The cord is not in the way. The cord, because the cord attaches to the table, it runs under the table and immediately just goes up like this. So that's no big deal.
So it's not across your lap.
It's not across my lap.
Okay.
What you guys can't see is that I have a USB hub mounted under the table so that I can attach things like this to the working surface without having cords running all over the place. And then I have it's a single USB 3.0 hub, and then that runs back to the PC. So my Stream Deck runs through that. I can run cameras on the table through that. Like if I wanted to put little like webcams like mounted, like sometimes I've done that, right? I can do that. I can sit them on the table.
Yeah.
So.
Kat, I would say get in touch with customer support.
What's up? Question. Yeah, probably.
And if you're and I'm assuming you're in the U.S., so call them during the day, during a weekday, and you'll actually
Okay,
get
that'll work.
something in Austin.
Good call, Ching. Good call. Yeah, you're gonna have customer service is probably your only real solution there, I'm betting. Okay, so let's shake things up and give this a go. I gotta pick the right brush. Man, I am way out of practice. Yeah, there's water in the thing over.
You're welcome, Cab. That's the only thing I can suggest. They're usually pretty good, but it may be difficult for you to prove ownership.
If you tag customer service, I suspect they're going to want to work with you, though. Like, that's kind of what they're paid for, you know?
Well, historically they've routed things through EA, but since Broadsword took over, I don't know how that's working.
Yeah. You're super crazy.
Or let me rephrase. Since the SWTOR team transferred over to Broadsword.
Oof, no, too long. Okay. We'll go with that for now. Okay. All right, I'm gonna start with the green. Let's do this real fast so everybody can see what we're doing. So I've picked out 4 speed paint colors. This is Speed Paint by Army Painter. For my jumper miniature here. This ought to be fairly easy. Her green we're going to do with this pastel seafoam color. This color is going to cover the majority of the miniature by the time we're done with it. This is Occultist Black. Oh, go ahead. She has. Are you going to try and put the art in it? The problem is the way the camera is zoomed in so far. Try it now. pull it back. Yeah, the problem is you can't, getting it in focus is the problem because of where the focal length is set.
You can at least see the colors there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've got some Holy White since she has a big shock of white hair. And then for the little bit of skin you can see kind of around the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, we're going to go with Crusader skin just to get started. And if we decide we don't like that, if we decide it's not dark enough, I'll figure something out. So that's where I'm at. Those four ought to cover most of this miniature and get us most of the way there. Now, looking at the artwork, I'm kind of like there's probably going to be, I'm probably going to want to try and do something fancy with some other things later, but we'll just, let me get started and we'll see how it goes because I am so far out of practice, I almost don't trust myself to do this.
Yeah, Tab, I don't know what to tell you on that one because I've had the same account pretty much since the launch.
I don't need a whole lot of this. This is kind of only in a few places on the miniature itself. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's try you. You look like you're probably pretty decent. Man, this is going to be a pain in the butt. Trying to figure out where to put this color. Okay, there's a couple places I can already see. Well, she's got two leg panels that are very, very clearly meant to be this color. We're going to start with that. But it's so light over this gray, you're almost not getting any of the color. Probably.
Didn't prime them?
They're all primed.
Oh, okay.
They've been primed for a long time. Yeah, yeah.
I just know you hadn't been out back.
I hit a stretch last year where I primed just like crazy.
Everything.
I primed nearly every miniature in the room, knowing that sooner or later they were going to have to get paint on them. So I went ahead and just, we had good weather, it was dry, or it was arid, or whatever, and I was like, okay, let's just go get this done. This pastel color feels so... It feels like it's not enough.
Put it on, and then put the black next to it. Get there.
Yeah.
And I can almost guarantee you'll see it.
Probably. See, now I've put it on too thick. That's one of the pitfalls of these army painters. Would you meet her? A couple paper towels would be great. Thank you. I love the speed paints. Love, love, love them. But sometimes it is possible to put them on a little too thick. And I've just kind of done that here. So I'm going to bring another brush in and kind of try and soak up some of the extra. I have a real bad habit sometimes of getting ahead of myself when I paint with these colors. By doing this. Okay, yeah, actually, now that it started to dry on the other side, it looks okay. So, all right, I need to just clean up my own mess here. Yeah, so Chinko, that's what I should have done, right? And I thought about it this afternoon, was like, hey, I need to go do this, and I didn't. Damn it, I just did it again. Well, we'll put a small... I'm going to layer this on a little thick to make sure we get this color to stand out. It's some of the only color on the model. The rest, I don't want it to be too dark. Okay. It looks like I've also got... That's all... Looks like her chest piece is kind of got places that I need to get this in here. Let's give that a go. But yeah, in a perfect world, what I would do is have the artwork that I was trying to kind of mimic, right? And put that up on the screen so everybody could see, hey, see this? This is where we're trying to get to. The trick is that sometimes with this stuff that's been out of, sometimes with Kickstarters, you can get really good artwork and you can grab it off the Kickstarter page and throw it up there. And then so for what we're doing, the purpose of what I'm trying to do here, it works. But sometimes they don't actually share high quality, you know, zoomed in bits of the Kickstarter stuff with what they're doing, right? So with the general audience, let's say. Okay, I see a couple panels I want to hit here. At this point, I'm just trying to just dab paint into a couple spots that look like likely candidates.
Board game?
Yeah. This is a cyberpunk board game. It is you play a police detective in the future, and in a world where cybernetic enhancements and implants and everything are very, very common. And so the point of the game is you're trying, these guys, these 10 figurines represent criminals members of a criminal organization. And you're trying to round up enough evidence on this organization to take them down. And you do that by jacking into these guys' implants and quote unquote riding along with them while they commit crimes. But the risk is, and this is a mechanic in the game, the risk is that if you stay too long, you make the wrong decisions or whatever, you can end up corrupting yourself and becoming a member of the criminal organization instead, because you're allowing them to influence you too much or something like this. So that is a very real possibility in this particular game. Yes, this is it right here. Let's see. I'm trying to. When I get done putting this color on, I'll put the miniature on the turntable and show you guys where we're at. I'm going to stop on that for a minute. I'm just trying to get some color in a few spots. What else have we got? I feel like she's going to need something on the arms. This looks like plating. I think, you know what I'm going to end up doing? I'm going to put some silver on here for accents. And
She's got.
yeah, but my problem with that is that when you look at the actual miniature for that, there's not a spot. It's very clear that that's obvious. Like it's not like, but she's got shoulder pads on. And what I'm thinking is if I'm going to do.
Those look like they're green.
Well, what I think I'm going to end up doing is, you catch just a glimpse of the, let me see.
That edge of the shoulder pad is green.
It is. Okay, then the problem is that doesn't make much sense.
Well, it could be that she has green trim on the plate.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is I also don't have to mimic exactly what I'm seeing on the artwork, right? I'm trying to match the color scheme. But if I don't get exactly the artwork, is it really that big of a deal? I mean, probably not, right?
Well, they're your miniatures.
Exactly.
You paint them the way you want.
Exactly.
I do what I want.
Exactly. Man, this back just did not get enough paint on it. Well, and it's angled very oddly. The other thing is that this particular paint, the Army Painter stuff, is designed to pull away to edges and fall into crevices, which is great, but it means that with a very, very light color like this, that sometimes it doesn't really take. It just kind of falls off the edges. So
Well, sometimes it just means you have to do a couple of coats.
that's basically what I've kind of resigned myself to here, is I'm just going to put a couple of coats of things on. I think I'm going to do the shoulder pads, and she's got some other bits in here that I think I'm going to come back and hit with silver. I think some silver highlights would look good at some point. Do you have, yeah, there's going to be some silver, a silver color and a steel color up there, if you wouldn't mind looking around for both of those. That'll do. Just bring me anything that says silver. Let's have a look at it. Yep, no worries. Yeah, I see some places I think I definitely want to put some silver highlights on here. I want the brightest one possible. This. Yeah, that polished silver is probably what we want. I know, Cab, it's crazy. It's crazy. A game where your choices have consequences. It's ridiculous. Preposterous. Unheard of. Unthinkable. God, they made this as hard as possible to get her face, too. The way this miniature is done, I'll show you guys this. Her arm is like right up in front of her face, which means that trying to get color on that face is going to be a massive pain in the ass. It's going to be a real hassle.
You know, I have an eyeliner brush that has a little bit of an angle.
I've got one over here that's got the same thing.
Yeah.
Is it this guy? It's this guy.
Yeah, I think that may come in handy.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yep. I use this one for a bunch of fine detail on mechs, and I think I'm going to end up using it again for this.
Yeah, sometimes sarcasm doesn't transfer in text.
What was the sarcasm?
Cab.
Oh yeah, no, I got it. I got it. Man, this is, whew, okay. I was expecting this to be a little easier. There's some fun detail on these miniatures. They look really good, but man, they're gonna be a real pain in my ass.
Maybe I should go get another silicone mat and come join you.
What do you got? What do you got something to work on too?
No, not really.
Okay.
Just give you a hand.
All right, let's try the face here. Bloody hell. Good news is this color is perfect, so good choice, Ginger.
I'm just good.
Yes, you are.
I'm picky about colors, so.
And your general OCD.
Well, that too.
Struggle is I've got to get enough of this on her face to color it, but not so much that it ruins the whole thing.
What are you drinking tonight, anyway?
That is Guadalupe.
Again.
Well, we're going to have to buy some 24 Guadalupe now that it's out.
So we're clearing out.
So
the
I'm
cabinet.
trying to clear that bottle out of the cabinet. So when I buy a new bottle of 24 Guadalupe, it just goes right on the shelf.
There you go. Should change your camera.
Well, the problem is that it's so, the detail on this is so small that watching me do it is almost pointless because you can't see what I'm doing unless I were to put like a GoPro camera on my chest
Or on your forehead.
or on my forehead.
A
Yeah.
headlamp.
Yeah. Like you would never see the actual strokes that I'm making here. And I'll be straight up honest, there's people on YouTube and Twitch who do this way better than I do. So if you want to watch somebody work, you should really go watch one of them. I'm just doing this because it's a fun community activity. We can all sit in here and shoot the breeze and chat, you know?
It's not even 8 o'clock yet.
No, ma'am. Getting close, though.
Go gadget camera. Yes.
I got that reference.
I understood that. Right.
I understood that reference. Okay.
Brush probably made that a little easier.
It did. I guess the other thing is that, you know, I have this weird problem in that I'm like my wife, I'm a perfectionist, right? I have this, whenever I start a painting project, I have a mental image of what I want the end result to look like. And my skill cannot deliver that image. And so I sometimes get frustrated. What I have to remember when I'm doing work like this for board game miniatures is I'm trying to make them table ready, right? I want them to look decent enough and, you know, put paint on them so when you put them on the table, they look great. Or they look playable, right? I'm not looking, they are not going to win competitions, and I'm okay with that. I just have to remind myself of that.
Well, but also remind yourself that the only way that your output is going to match that
is through practice. I know that there is that small problem as well, is that I'm only going to get better by getting in here and trying and doing more. I think I see some other places I'm going to put some of this green color. Hold on a minute. Yeah. So anyways, how was everybody's weekend? Do the American thing, pay somebody else to do it.
Now, we do have a friend that has painted
Yep.
a lot of our miniatures.
I have a buddy who has painted some stuff for me before.
I should go and get my labyrinth stuff and bring it down and show it off.
Yeah, those were, he didn't paint, did he paint those? I didn't think he had.
The whole set.
Okay. There are some things in this room that he has painted. There's some things that many things that he has not. I haven't gone back to him in a little while. I will probably be going back to him soon-ish because there are some things that I want done that I cannot get done. I'm trying to match work he's already done, basically, right? So he's done some stuff for me, and I've got more miniatures in that same genre, and I want everything to kind of look consistent.
And yes, Cab, we have
Have what?
about Dingles.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that today. I was a little bummed. I was like, man, come on, this sucks. You know, we've been to that place. We had dinner there a couple years ago. Paul is just a great human. I'm glad I got to spend a little time there and got just hang out with him for the evening. And he didn't have to do any of that, right? That was the beauty of it. I mean, I had pinged Rita basically saying, hey, we're going to be in Portsmouth. What's some ideas? We were coming down from London, so I wanted to pick her brain about transit.
We wanted to go to the Naval Museum.
We wanted to go to the Naval Museum, so I just kind of picked her brain, like, what can we do? And then afterwards, she goes, after we'd traded some messages, because I had met Rita, right? We met Rita at quarters at Kid, right? She came with Happa. We met her, and so I felt very comfortable, like reaching out to her, like, hey, let's ping her. You found an image for you, Xanda. Okay, let's have a peek. Anyways, oh yeah, there you go. Look at this. See, this is somebody who's put like a whole lot of work into this. Oh, yeah, look at this. Like these are amazing looking. That link that Xanda posted, look at these. Those are crazy good. Yeah, she's back here. She's hiding. You can barely make out the one I'm working on. You can just barely make out her head and her hair.
Well, and they didn't go with the artwork on the card.
No, they didn't, and that's fine. That's, again, to each their own, right? Like, I don't care. You do you, right?
Oh, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he even did stuff to make it look like it was glowing.
Yeah. I've thought about trying to maybe get like a dry brush and do a little bit of that in certain places when the time comes. But we had pinged Rita, right, and basically said, hey, we're looking, we want to come out of Portsmouth, spend the day, give us some ideas and all this sort of stuff. And she did, and then I think about a week out, she randomly tags me and she goes, hey, Paul wants to cook you dinner. And I was like, okay, I mean, you don't turn that down, but like, wow, you don't have to offer that. Like, I would never ask that of somebody, right? I had hoped I might have the opportunity to buy the man a drink. Like, that would have been cool, right? But no, he literally had us over to his place and cooked us a meal. Like, well, shit, this was cool. I was not feeling my best that day. I remember
You were tired.
I was tired and I was, my voice was going for whatever reason. But anyway, we had a great time. We had a great evening.
Portsmouth was great.
Mm.
And I always like hanging out with a fellow Navy nerd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Although he was an officer.
Mm-mm.
No? He was enlisted?
Mm-mm.
He was enlisted? Okay. I wasn't sure.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually worked for a living.
He'd be very offended to hear you say that.
Yes. Yeah. His comment about you sounding like the appropriate British officer makes, yeah.
He knew what he was talking about.
Yes.
For those of you that don't know the story, about 5.5 years ago, right after I joined the CC program, they did this goofy contest called The Ring, right? And it was meant to be a thing where the various community contributors at the time competed friendly against each other for the chance to get our likenesses, right, and our voices into the game as a captain. I'll be honest, everybody knew Paul was going to win this contest, right? Like, this was not in question from the day it was announced. But I figured, what the hell? I was brand new to the program. I think I've been in the program about 4 months at that time. This was the fall of 2018 was when this went on. And I was like, sure, let's do it. Let's go. So I signed up. And I had some fun videos, but the very first one that we had to do was we had to play a British ship. And I played this game, I think, in Fiji. I think every video I made was in a tier 7 ship. That sounds correct. And then I would come back in and I would do the voiceover either in the language of the ship I was playing. So example, I did one for York in really, really bad German. And I did one for Algerie in passable French, because my French accent is not terrible. My German accent is god-awful bad.
Yes.
And then the Japanese one, I didn't even attempt. I actually considered it, but I was like, there is no way I'm going to be able to do something for Japanese. So what I did instead was I did like,
Is it out of sync?
no, I did a Godzilla tribute thing. So it was a video about Yamato, but I did it in the style of like a 1950s Godzilla trailer. So I was speaking English, but I was doing all of the, outstanding, it's huge, like all this crap. Anyway, and that was kind of the, and then the very last one was American. That was the one that I did with Duke Nukem as my XO on Helena. But the very first video I did was on Fiji, and I put on my posh British accent, right? And Paul voted for me.
Emulated your Cary Grant.
Paul voted for me. I cannot tell you what that meant to me, right? Because it was like, I've been noticed, right? Like, he was like, Senpai noticed me, right? He was like, he goes, you captured the pompous British officer accent perfectly. Well done. I was like, thank you. Like, this is it. My goal, that's it. I'll never be this happy again, right? It was hilarious. It was really funny. Okay, I think I'm going to try and layer the black on here, and then I'm going to come back. Actually, I'm going to do the white. Let me do this white while I'm here, because this will be quick. Her little shock of white hair will not take much. I've got BattleTech I got a lot of BattleTech in this room, DE. Over on YouTube, DE is asking me about my miniatures. Yes, I have a lot of BattleTech. I'm a hardcore clanner. I have been playing clan for 30 years. Literally 30 years. On the bench here, I have, here, show the, there you go. Yeah. Right, so they are not painted. They are primed. They are not painted. But I got a Mad Kitty. This is just a stock Mad Kitty. This is the one back here, Ginger. This is the Pride. That's the Aiden Pride version with the jump jets on it. Yeah, you can take him off.
Yeah.
Take him off the base.
This is what I drive.
She likes the jumping Mad Kitty. What have I got down here? I've got a Battle Cobra. That's a Shadow Cat. I've got a couple of adders. I've got what else have we got? Oh, this is a Warhawk, a Grendel, a Turkina. That's a Night Gear. The Elementals are a work in progress. I've got an Arctic Cheetah down here. Oh yeah, here. Now, if you want, I can pull out the, like, I have upstairs is my mechs that I actually have painted. I know, Ice Rose, you'll get over it. You'll get over it. You dirty, filthy spheroid. I have about 2 years ago, we did a Tukid campaign, and I painted up basically a Trinaria Smoke Jags. Which up to that point was a clan that I had never played, never really read about, brutally honest, didn't really care about. And having played that campaign, I now actually am really glad that I did. I had a good time. We had a blast playing that campaign. But I rolled up a whole Trinary Smoke Jags. Trinary? Was it? No, it wasn't a binary. I only had 1 star of elementals. Anyway, that was when I kind of got into doing the painting some of the mechs, right? Anyway, that was a great time. And I want to do more mechs. One of the reasons you're seeing so much work in progress here is because what I'm trying to do is come up with a standard color scheme for each clan. So that basically I have a way that this is how I paint my Diamond Shark mechs. And invading clans only really is where my focus is. I am not much of a home clan guy. That's okay, he's allowed. I was gonna say, no, it's not Lao. Everybody hates the Lao, right? It's fine. Anyway, so what you're seeing down there is I've got some iconic mechs from each clan picked out. Hang on, I'm working on this hairline here.
Intense concentration.
I know, right? Again, the Turkina, the Lanner, the Pride Timby, obviously all going to be part of a Falcon paint scheme and so on. So that way later on, as we play more 2Kid, and I decide, hey, it's time for me to play this clan, I'll just go roll up the Trinary, and then I know what colors and what scheme to paint a bunch of mechs up to play that particular clan for that particular campaign. I'll probably even at some point paint up a bunch of Comstar mechs. In fairness, I can't play clan every time we play 2Kid. As much fun as it would be, I can't. I shouldn't, let's say. I shouldn't. Okay, I'm going to put this thing back on the turntable so you guys can get a glimpse of where we're at. I'm about to start putting the black on, I think. But you can kind of start to see I put the color on. We just did her hair. I've got just enough color on the face. That's literally the only skin. That brown tone is the only skin that you see on the whole miniature. And then I've picked that I've kind of smashed that green-blue color in where it looks like it makes sense compared to the artwork that I'm working off of. Just about everything else on that miniature is going to come out as black, I think. And then I'm going to come back in with some silver highlights in a few places, just to spice it up just a hair. Like she's got some stuff on her wrist, like some bracers, the pads on her shoulders. I'll probably do a little on the backpack. And then down by her feet, she's got they look like giant heels. You see these things right here on her feet? Yeah. They're black in the artwork, but I'm probably going to do them as silver just so they stand out a little bit. Again, just some fun accent colors. Do you spray gun or brush? Brush, Andrew. I do not, I do not feel that I am advanced enough in my painting skills to do airbrush yet. I'm still trying to develop enough skills with hand brushing that I feel comfortable, like, okay, now I would do a little bit of airbrush work, then come back in and, hit a dry brush layer or something like that. I'm still developing the confidence in my own skill set.
The only airbrush you've done is my makeup.
Yes.
You crazy son of a bitch.
Shout with the resub. What is up? So Ginger has we're both cosplayers. And about, has it been 5? It's been 5 years since Chicago. One of the last time, actually we did Dragon Con that year as well. We did Dragon in 19. So yeah, but twice that year, she built herself a Hera costume from Rebels, and she drugged me into going as Kanan Jarrus. But she had to do all the body paint, the green skin, right? So she had to get an airbrush to be able to apply that stuff to her. You didn't do it to your face, did you? Okay, I thought you did the thought this was all by hand and you did the airbrush on like... No, because you only did it on your face.
No, yeah.
Everyone else was
It was
gloves,
neck
neck and face. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
That was one of the great things about Hera, was that it's just...
It's just the neck and the face.
The neck and
You don't
the
have to paint anything else. Right. Yeah. Airbrush speeds up the process. I believe that it does. I feel like I'm a big fan of the Army Painter stuff because to me this speeds up my process. Right. This is such a huge benefit to a noob like me that I love these paints. Wow, this one kind of leaked all over the place there. Yeah. Okay.
I do like that, you painted her face with just the one color.
Yep.
But because it sinks into the...
Yeah, you get some little bit of shade. You get a little bit of shading, right?
Yeah.
It's nice. It's not perfect, but it looks okay.
Yeah.
And again, not perfect but okay is honestly the goal. So
You got to give yourself a little grace.
yeah. That's again another skill I'm still working on. Okay, so let's get back to some of this here. The other thing is that there is some technique to using these paints that I am still developing. You know, like I was saying earlier, it's possible to kind of over layer it, and I just made a little bit of that error, so I'm trying to kind of get the brush in here and soak it up. You have to put on enough of it so that it hits everything, but not too much. If you slather it on, it still doesn't look great. You have to put enough on that it coats everything, it falls into the crevices. But if you come back and put another layer over it, like you can tell, it looks weird. You can tell that another layer has been applied over the top. It's meant to be, it's literally designed to be a one and done coat.
So the Leicu striping was actually painted on, the Leicu were silicone. So it was painted on with silicone paints. So it's permanent.
God, this pose makes her a real pain in the ass to paint.
Xander was asking
Hmm.
if told you things going on about his dad.
I believe so. I'd have to go back through my PMs, but I think we had a conversation about it last week, if memory serves. Ugh, I'm glad I'm not trying to put any of this color on the inside of her thighs.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Andrew.
Yeah, I answered you earlier, Andrew, but you must have not...
No, that he wasn't the one asking.
Oh, okay, there was a different... Somebody asked at the top of the stream and I was busy.
Cab was asking.
Yeah. I was busy talking, so I came back to the question later.
Yes. You message him on Discord?
They may not be able to hear you. You want a mic?
Get done with that and we'll worry about it.
Okay. No, that's too much. Damn it. Too much on the brush. You get too much on the mini, then it's a big mess.
They're forgiving and yet not.
Well, they're very forgiving, but it's like anything else. It takes some time to develop a technique, and I am
Well, you've got to get used to the
badly out of practice.
You've got to get used to the consistency and flow.
Yep.
And sometimes that's hard, especially when you've been away from it for a few months.
Especially when I'm really sucking at this right now. I can tell you right now I'm going to be unhappy with how this comes out. I'm going to end up I'm going to dunking her and redoing her. But at least I can do proof of concept to prove the colors. If I can get that done, it will not be a wasted night.
He does not do Warhammer.
Negative. The genre has never interested me, and more than anything, the player base is a huge turnoff. I have a lot of really good friends who have played Warhammer for many years. And I have considered playing with them, and that's probably the only people I would ever consider playing with because, yeah, I'm going to have to end up redoing this. I'm getting black all over the place that I don't want it, but whatever. But man, let me tell you, you talk about some real gatekeeping jerks, man. Warhammer is full of that. Full of it.
I think that's going to turn out better than you think it is.
Well, but look, you look at, I mean, I can look at the leg. Look at those leg panels, right? Like I've slathered black in places I don't want it. It's over the top of the green in some spots. We chose the right color.
Yeah.
The color combo is going to be fine. I've just got to get my technique refined
I
better.
almost feel like you need a smaller brush.
I probably do, brutally honest. I probably do. Right now, I'll get her arms and hands. I want to do the whole thing just so I can see, get the image of it in my brain to make sure that I'm going to be happy with it. And then later on, I can come back and green stuff her and do it again.
Yeah, Cab, that's pretty much what he's looking at. Color good, application bad.
Again, operator error. As I said at the top of the stream, not only am I rusty, I am not good to begin with. So it is a struggle. It is a skill that I'm still developing, to put it lightly. One of the reasons that I've fallen in love with these Army Painter paints is because they are so easy to clean up, in the sense of it's very easy for me to paint a miniature, look at it and go, close, but not close enough. And then I'll go, dunk it in green stuff for an hour or two max. And then I take it out, I rinse it, all the paint falls right off, and I can paint it again. I can try again anyway. Now, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about Teabag, about being the biggest game in town. You're going to attract, the finest people. You're not wrong. I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. But my frustration is that, frankly, for my money, I'm just too old to deal with that crap anymore. I'm in my mid-40s. Like, I don't have time for that. Okay, I don't have time for it. I dealt with enough of it in my youth playing CCGs, right? Back when I played Magic competitively. Back when I played Star Wars CCG competitively. I never really got much of that in the competitive Babylon 5 circuit. I never really got much of it in the competitive Lord of the Rings circuit.
Did in Young Jedi, though.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember.
There were a couple of guys
That game was so simple.
it was.
I don't know why anybody would be toxic about a game that easy.
Well, they didn't like when they were losing.
Well, I mean, again, I come back to that's a operator error problem.
I think what got me more was that it was older guys.
Yeah.
It was adults playing
A game that was designed for a very young audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they took it way too bloody seriously.
Yeah. I mean, I remember my only success with Young Jedi, right, was a buddy of mine taught me to play. Let's see. It came out about a year after the first prequel. I'll tell you in a minute, Cab. And it was very, very simple, right? Super simple game. But by about the 4th or 5th expansion, they had added some really neat mechanics to it for dueling that represented lightsaber duels. And so when I learned that, I thought, okay, this is a deck I'll play. This is a neat concept. I'll play a deck that focuses on this. So I went to Origins that year and won the big tournament and won a seat at the World Championships that I didn't get to go to because the World Championships that year were scheduled for November of 2001. And pretty much after 9/11, they used it as an excuse to cancel the entire event. There were no World Championships for any Decipher product at all that year. It was very sad. What are you looking up?
I was reading what Xanda had said.
Oh, okay. Young Jedi was a great game. Now, Cab, what you're asking about is a game called Star Wars Unlimited. Okay, now, it is a Fantasy Flight game. Okay, if you're familiar with Fantasy Flight from Twilight Imperium, or very much the the other stuff that they've done. They've done a lot of RPGs, for example. About 5-ish years ago, Fantasy Flight got involved. They got into the collect. They've been doing LCGs, right? Non-collectible card games for a while. Still are. They still make the Arkham Horror LCG, which is a great game. But they got into TCGs with a game called Star Wars Destiny. Now, Destiny was a game that I originally resisted very strongly because years ago I played a different game from WotC. It was a mix of, cards and dice. You built a deck, you had to randomly draw cards out of your deck, and then for things to happen on the table, you had to roll dice. And there was just too much variability in it for me. You could build this, you could have the right strategy, build the right deck, and the dice could be like, LOL, you lose, right? And so I said, that's it. Dice and card games don't mix. And so originally I looked at Destiny and went, this is not for me. But people I know and trust convinced me to try it. And what I discovered was that it was a game that had a tremendous amount of strategic and deck building strategy and depth to it. And I really fell in love with it. And it lasted about 2 or 3 years. And then FFG pulled the plug. They shut it down because they suck at running games. And so at that point, I basically said, that's it. I'll never buy anything from FFG again that's not like a board game or an RPG. Like if it's a standalone product, if the whole game is right there, I don't trust them anymore to run a live product. And so here we are all these years later, and they're putting out a new TCG. Now, again, I resisted this one. I was like, nope, everything I just said to you guys, I said to my buddies that play locally, that have been playing, well, they don't play the game yet, they've been playing other stuff, but they were like, oh, we're going to try this. And I was like, the other things, right? Yeah, Legion and Shatterpoint now and other stuff like that. And I was just like, no, I don't trust them. I'm not doing it. You can't convince me this is not going to happen. And they were like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're doing this pre-release. When the pre-release is Thursday night this week. And I said, who's going to be there? And they told me. And I said, okay, I will come to this pre-release. It's a one-time cost. I'll get, 6 booster packs and a pre-release kit or whatever. And I'll come hang out with you guys because you guys are awesome. And I like hanging out with awesome people to play games. So I will come and do this thing with you. But I will not commit to this game because I don't trust Fantasy Flight. And I sure as hell I just don't trust them. I don't believe in their ability to do this. They have to prove themselves. And that was about 6-8 weeks ago. And since then, I have spent some time on YouTube and other places, social media, watching interviews with the developers of this game. And the new CEO of Fantasy Flight up in Minnesota. And basically, they've all said, yep, we know that you people have no reason to trust us because historically, the company has been really bad at this. And I'm like, yeah, tell me something I don't know. But we feel like we've solved all these problems, And I thought, okay, well, again, I'm not sold, but you're making a compelling argument. We'll see where it goes. So I'm going to go to this thing on Thursday night, and it may turn out well. It may not turn out well. I don't know. But I'm going to go have a good time, and then we'll see. One of the things that intrigues me about this game is just the possibility of being able to make content for a TCG that I actually enjoy and play. I've never been able to do that. All these years that I've played TCGs of varying types, I didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't have a Twitch channel. I had no place to do that. It never would have occurred to me anyway. And if it did, I wouldn't have had a place to do it. Now I do. And so now I'm looking at it going, well, is this something that I'm interested in? Now I'm having this internal debate, right? Like, am I really interested in this enough? Do I really want to go through this? Do I really trust this company? Is it possible for me to say, invest in 4 booster boxes, play some games, make some videos, and recoup my investment so that at least it's a neutral? Well, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? I'm in my head with all of these things, right? She actually came out a little better than I think. We're almost done. Let me show you where we're at. This is where she's at after I put the black on her. You can tell the paint job is not very good. I actually like the color scheme we've chosen. She's still drawing. I think with some silver highlights, those shoulder pads you see that are kind of blank, I'm thinking some silver there. And there's some other cabling and wiring going around that I think I'd put some silver on. But for my purposes, that's the kind of paint job, I've already got one over here. That's the kind of paint job that I am focused on, right? Like simple. I want color on the miniature so it looks good. It's not going to win any awards, but you know, from 2 feet away, it's very clearly looking like it's been worked on. It's been painted. So, after all of that talking, I can go back to talking about Teabag's question, which we sort of touched on earlier, which was about Paul. I was telling the story earlier of getting the chance to meet him a couple of years ago and him cooking us dinner at his place when we were in the UK, which was really awesome. I mean, my thoughts are, you know, Godspeed. He doesn't know enough now to be really super concerned. He's doing the smart thing, which is planning for the worst and hoping for the best. I think there's not much else you can do in that situation because he doesn't know enough. What I was blown away by was I found that video this morning. Rita, he posted it on Twitter and then Rita retweeted it. Jingles, Ice Rose. Jingles' name is Paul Charlton. This has never been a shock. He has never at any point in his career attempted to hide his real name. He retweeted it and I watched it, and then I watched it on, like embedded in Twitter, and then I went over and clicked on it and carried it through and watched it on YouTube, and I scrolled down, and the comment section, right, is filled with people donating money to the man, which is amazing because you watch this 10-minute video and at no point does he ever ask, right? He wouldn't, right? That's just not who he is. And, you know, he basically says, okay, so here's my focus. My focus is I want to take care of my family. I need to get my mortgage paid off. Okay, so I'm letting you guys know up front, you're going to see me do more sponsorships. He goes, I'm very discerning about the sponsorships that I do. I'm going to do more. You're going to see a lot more of it because I need to get this place paid off in case the worst happens. And the comment section was like, bro, we got you. Now, is that going to solve all of his problems? No, I don't think it is. But it's going to obviously make a huge, significant contribution. And that's amazing, right? That's a testament to the community the man has built over the last, 10, 12 years of just being an awesome human. And again, at no point does he ask. And the community's like, dude, you don't have to ask. We got you. That's amazing. Like I could only wish that if I was in that situation, I would get the exact same reaction, right? Cab, she looks rough, but you know what? I think by the time I get through putting some silver on her, I might just leave her alone.
Let me see her.
I might just leave her alone. If you really, really look at this miniature, if you get way up close, you can see where I have spilled over some black onto some things that I wish weren't black and that kind of thing, right? But the reality is for what I'm attempting, she looks okay.
Honestly, given the size of the brush that you were using.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm gonna take the little tiny tip brush now, and after I get some bourbon, and I'm gonna put some silver on her, and then I'm probably gonna be done with it.
I mean, you could go back in and with the tiny brush and edge things out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew, one of the reasons that I do.
Go get 2 batteries.
2 batteries?
Go get some batteries. These ones are low enough, I just don't want to risk it. Okay. We're just going to swap them out. And the last 2 batteries I had in this room, I put into this belt pack before the stream started.
Are they doubles or triples?
Doubles. The 2 AA is all you need.
Okay.
Yep, you didn't know. I got you.
Econo size pack from Amazon again.
Yep. Okay. What's up, Necro? Life is good. I'm painting for the first time in like a year and change, almost a year, so. Okay, you know how that is.
Yep.
When you are set up, just turn it on and they can hear you without having to listen through my microphone, which is probably driving somebody crazy. Electric, that's actually a valid point that I probably should consider more often when I do this sort of thing, right? Is it's possible to go too far. So I'm going to put some little dabbles of silver on here, just a couple of little accents in a couple of spots, and then I'm probably going to be done. No, Teabag, I had the same thought, and the timing is, I'll say, suboptimal, depending on who you ask, right? I know talking to Zath, he literally today is restarting working, going back to work for Stack Up. But yeah, I think you'll probably see some streamers put together some donation streams. I could absolutely see some fundraisers going on. None of that would surprise me in the least. The guy has not only a following, but he is such a generous and giving human that I would be surprised if nobody made the effort.
Well, the question is whether or not he'll allow people to make the effort.
Do you know? I think he will.
Okay.
I think he will. And again, it comes down to, right now, he doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I think you reach a point where you have to swallow your pride a little bit. And if people want to help you, you smile and say thank you.
Yep. And Andrew, I'm going to go back to a comment that you made earlier talking about how you continued painting miniatures kind of in memory of your dad. Honestly, that's one of the things that that got me doing basically soldering and electrical work, building my lightsabers and playing with some of that stuff, was that was something that my grandfather taught me to do. And so I have kept up with some of that. I keep my kit handy because I never know when I'm going to need it. I've done some of that, and I started working on vintage sewing machines because my grandmother passed away and left me her machine. And so, and that machine had actually belonged to my great-grandmother since 1931. So I went through, I serviced it, cleaned it up, relubed the all of the mechanisms, and I still have to redo the shellac finish. I haven't been brave enough to do that because I don't want to screw it up. But yeah, so
Our garage is full of sewing machines.
Yes, at least they're better organized than they were.
True.
I just want to, I want to get back out there, but I got to get that table done this week.
Yes, please.
Yes. Well, I got to figure out, I'm probably going to get a small brush and an edging tool and just, yeah.
Okay. Happy with the silver, but I've now discovered some places that I need more black, so I'll go back and finish that up here.
Yeah, Jingles is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun going to meet him and hanging out with him for a while, and I love watching his videos too.
He's always fun. He has such a great sense of humor, right? Like he just, and it's funny. I won't say funny. Funny's not the word. It's noteworthy, let's say. Yes, Necro, hence the map. I changed the piece of art in the set, right? When we first set up this room, it was a dining room. And the piece of art we hung on the wall was from our time in St. John's, right? When we lived in Eastern Canada for a while. But as I moved to migrating more to this like a dual purpose room, yes, it's still a dining room. This table will still seat 6 people to eat in here. The dry bar is still in the corner, right? But doing more filming in here, I was like, let's put something on the wall that is a little more nerdy. Kind of like this wall. You guys can't see it, but this wall over here is covered in Star Wars art. And so I found a guy online who does maps of all kinds of things, states, countries, in the style of Tolkien. Like the map to the Lonely Mountain, right? same style, but this is a map of Texas done in that style. So that met approval of the boss for me to put up on the wall in here.
I've given you a little more carte blanche in here.
I'm aware,
So,
but it matters to me that you at least A, have a say, and B, approve or agree.
yes.
Okay, 1.
Yes, bye.
Is that Twill? Yes, bye. Twill's in the chat. Yes, bye. We have some beautiful artwork of the harbor painted from basically the perspective of like Queen Elizabeth's Battery. It's pretty up there. Looking back into the harbor.
That was a photograph.
No, that's a painting.
No. It's an HDR photograph.
Whatever. But basically, the sun is setting over the backside of the peninsula, right? Like over by Conception Bay, and so the sky as you look back towards down is this beautiful sunset color, the same color as the paint in here. That's why it hung in here.
Virginia would be appropriate. Eagle.
Virginia would also be appropriate.
Yes.
But I am at this point I am not a native Texan, but I consider myself a Texan. So I've lived here long enough, and I've developed the right mentality the way I look at it. So there we go.
Well, I mean, the Louisiana mindset, the Acadiana mindset is not all that different.
Right. All right, I'm gonna call her done. Good enough for now, anyway.
Coastal or inland, Necro? Gotcha.
You know, the Outer Banks. I have never been there. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
We have spent a non-zero amount of time in the mountains. Bryson City, Boone, Cherokee,
Maggie Valley.
right? Yeah, up towards the Smokies, and we have friends in Raleigh, so we've been to that part of the state. But I've never been to the Outer Banks, so I absolutely want to go. I absolutely want to go sometime.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Georgia, so we vacationed in the Smokies a lot. So, you know, Eastern Tennessee, Western Carolina, I know them well. That actually turned out pretty good.
I think it's okay. I'm not like 100% happy with it. I'm like 85% happy with it. And for the purposes of a board game, when you're going to see it at about this range most of the time, you know, what is this, about 24 inches? Mm-hmm. Probably good enough. Probably good enough. Okay, let's pick something else.
Eagle, my grandfather was stationed at Vent Hill Farms in the 1950s outside of Culpeper. And so one of my, was it Grady that was born in Virginia, or was it?
Grady was born in Virginia.
Yeah, Uncle Grady was.
Your mom was...
No, Mom was Georgia.
You're
Mom was,
sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mom was Atlanta. Granny came home.
She was 56?
Yeah.
And Grady was 59?
Mom was 58.
58.
Yeah.
Grady was 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, my roots in Virginia go back a little ways. We still have a lot of family friends in the area. My grandfather worked Vent Hill Farms and then worked for NSA for a number of years until he decided driving to Fort Meade was not his cuppa. So.
Okay, we're gonna work on the drone jack next.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm gonna pick out some more colors. I'm gonna use this black for his coat.
Fredericksburg used to be the dividing line. We could get sweet tea south of Fredericksburg.
Yeah, I remember those days.
When we lived in Virginia.
I remember those days. Yeah. That was totally a thing.
Yeah, we lived outside of Old Town Alex.
All right, I want the brightest, most obnoxious red I can find. And then I'm gonna need a dark green and a leather color. I like that.
Well, this was, God, how long ago?
Were we asking about Virginia?
Virginia? When
We moved out to Virginia in 2007.
2007.
We lived there from 2001 to 2007.
Yep.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are in Washington, there is a Chick-fil-A in Tacoma.
That's the only Chick-fil-A if I know that part of the world.
Yep.
You are a long way out there. A long way.
Yes.
Okay. Cannon, that's amazing. Cannon over on YouTube is basically saying he didn't know Jingles' name until tonight, and the only reason he's watching me is because of Jingles. I'm like, that's crazy to me. Like when you say stuff like that, I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But his Twitter account, if you go to his Twitter account, it's always said Paul Charlton.
Yeah.
Like that's never been a big secret. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to work on next here. This is the guy we're going to. He is the Drone Jack. He's a very hulking looking dude with some crap over his face. So we won't need flesh tones for this one because there is no flesh. None to see. When you look at the artwork,
Pull you out.
when you look at the artwork, he has a lot of bright red on various spots. So we're going to go with this Carmine Dragon color. I guess I can turn this. I don't need to turn the bottle. There we go. No, it's turning the other way. Stop that. Okay.
The switch has to be in the middle.
Here we go. Okay, so there's our red color we're going to go with. His big overcoat is black, so we're just going to do a nice, simple, what they call grim black here. And then he has some leather straps that carries, like, it's like he's got ammo or something. I don't know exactly what it is. So we're going to do this. They call this fur. I like this color. They've got a hardened leather color, but I don't like it as much. This is darker. I think it's going to look really good next to this black. And then the shirt, like underneath the coat, is a very dark green. And so we're going to go with this color right here. So that's our little tri-colored that's going to cover up most of the miniature with some red highlights, basically.
JBLM. That's
Yep.
where Right was.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I had a buddy in the Army at JBLM for a long time. I think 3 years? 3 years sounds right. He did 3 years at JBLM, then went to Germany. Then came back from Germany during COVID. Do not recommend.
Do not recommend.
Do not recommend. He's out of the Army now and typically much happier.
Sort of.
I said typically. I didn't say always.
No. We had a friend that was at JBL.
No. I was not. No.
And my brother was up the coast a little bit at Bremerton.
Yeah, he worked at Bremerton. They lived in Belfair.
Belfair.
They had a house in Belfair.
Mason County.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I did not, Xanda.
Did not.
Which part of it? Belfair is your neighborhood? Is that what you're saying?
Or JBLM.
That is too pink. I need more red. Damn.
Whoop.
Yeah, you got to wear it. The whole point of the belt pack is to wear it.
I know.
Not to drag it around the house, woman.
You're dead. You crazy
How
son
about-
of a bitch. You're dead.
Poppy red?
Yeah, bring it over. Good evening, Adildrell. Thank you. Yes, let's go with that. That'll do. Okay, so we're the carmine red I had picked out is a little too pink for me. We're gonna pick out one now that's called poppy red. We're gonna try that instead.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been to JBLM a couple of times myself.
I've only been that one time. We were up there in summer of 15. You were on your way back from Australia. And I was just coming up there for the hell of coming up there for a few days.
Well, yeah. Got to see Seattle before it became even more of a...
It was already well on its way to being crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, let's see.
Necro, I'll peek in a minute. Yeah, we wanted to come up for Turner Joy, but the timing didn't work out right.
Yeah, I forgot. I had something going on that weekend. because my brother-in-law went to Turner Joy.
Yes, he did.
Along with Krigor was there back in the day. That was when he was still in the program. I think Viking was still there in the program. I think Senpai came down. I think even Venicera was there. She was a part of the old Warships podcast crew, which was great people. I miss those guys. She's the one that helped me figure out how to get my TIE Fighter set up with the dynamic music stuff, because she is a huge retro gamer. So she had all kinds of resources to help me solve that problem that I didn't know I was going to have when I put TIE Fighter back on my machine a number of years ago.
We'll do Xanda.
What?
Said if we ever come up for Turner Joy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I keep, Wargaming keeps threatening to go back to doing Anchors Away events, and I remain skeptical, but we shall see. They may yet surprise me. If they do, I'd probably go back to that part of the world. The one that I missed the most was Vampire Deuce.
Yeah.
Right? When the pandemic hit in 2020, they had already announced the full slate of Anchors Away stops for all the way into early 2021. And the last stop on the 20 tour in January of 2021, they were going to go to Vampire Deuce. Now, Vamp Deuce is a museum ship at the Australian National Maritime Museum in Darling Harbour, Sydney. And it is wonderful. That museum is amazing. If you ever get to go to Sydney, you need to go. You owe it to yourself to go to that museum. It is so fabulous. You should go.
Adeldrill, when is Twitch not being twitchy?
What's going on? It's possible my Wi-Fi down here is also being doofy.
Looks like there's a little bit of lag on the cameras.
Well, and this is me trying something tonight, right? Because I have never attempted to dual stream from this room before. I've only ever done Twitch. But tonight we're doing Twitch and YouTube. So I'm using double the bandwidth, double the upload to try it out.
Yeah.
That was intentional.
The other thing, Electric, is it will, unless you go in and I think you're only allowed a certain bit rate, and sometimes they get a little stingy with it.
Twitch limits you to a 6 kbps upload speed. It's why one of the reasons you can't stream 4K on Twitch is their hardware doesn't support it. Now, I don't know if that's a conscious choice or a legacy limitation or what. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I just know that that's reality. And so, however, on YouTube, if I was I'm feeling brave enough, I could stream in 4K on YouTube. YouTube has, I guess, more resources or something.
Yeah, but who really needs to count your nose hairs?
Well, I didn't say it was likely. I'm just saying it could happen. If I get to a point someday down the road that I'm doing this, for a living, and I'm producing board game streams in here, then it becomes like, okay, maybe you look into it, right? I mean, I already got a couple of 4K cameras.
DE over on YouTube is asking, what's the mini for?
The board game over my right shoulder here is called In Too Deep. That's where these miniatures are from. This is a board game that came out about 2 or 3 years ago from a company called Burnt Island Games. And I have never made the time to print the miniatures, and so paint the miniatures, so I am painting them. The base game, they're cardboard stand-ups, but I bought the deluxe version that came from the Kickstarter, and it came with these are like, I don't know, 60 millimeter minis or something like that.
I like that color.
I really like this color. You chose well.
Thank you.
This guy, I think, is going to end up looking better than the Sprinter or whatever, with the Jumper over there, right?
Well, it makes sense because you've gotten back kind of into the swing of things.
Getting a little into the swing of things, and there's a lot less super fine deep. This is a beefier miniature, so there's more surface area to hit and it's a little more forgiving.
Yep. Yeah, but We don't have space for a resin printer.
I don't want it. I've got enough people in my circle of friends locally. Like I've got a guy who he owns a maker business. Like that's what he does. And so when I need something printed, I just call him and I'm happy to pay him for his hardware so that I don't have to own it and keep it in the house.
Yes. We have enough stuff.
I have enough crap in my house already. I do not need more.
Yes.
More money, more space, another skill to learn. It's just like, yikes.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it.
Well, it doesn't help that your wife runs a t-shirt company out of the...
I know. So for me, it's just like, nope, I will happily pay someone else for their expertise in doing that sort of thing when I need it done. And I have gone to him for stuff before. 100%. He's done some BattleTech terrain for me before, and he'll do more before all is said and done.
Yeah, Armored 3D printers are awesome, but the learning curve can be a little steep because they can also be really fidgety little
Very
things.
finicky. Very finicky.
I would rather than having to learn how to use a CAD program and all of that kind of stuff, I'd much rather pay somebody who can just throw it together a lot faster than I ever could.
I mean, look, one of the things about being a nerd, right? One of the things about being a nerd is we're all creative people. And so I know a whole lot of creative people who get into that sort of thing, right? They have 3D printers and stuff. And so you talk to them, and some of them are constantly kvetching about how much of a pain in the ass their 3D printer is.
And yet, they're like sailors. They're not happy unless they're bitching.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Oh, I get it.
They wouldn't trade it for
Bloody hell.
anything, but...
I'm tired of that thing. It's not helping. It should be, but it isn't. Okay. I think I've hit all the spots that I want to hit with red. Kind of checking the artwork here. Yeah.
That red just pops off that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. That's what I'm saying. The red pops off of this guy, and by the time I get done putting a bunch of dark colors on him, I think it's gonna look really good. There, I'll show you where we're at real fast, just so you can get a sense of what we're up to. So yeah, I'm seeing the stutter now. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what it is that's causing that. I think it's a rendering problem. I'm hearing the fan on the graphics card really really chugging behind me here.
Yeah.
That's probably what that is. Like I said, part of the reason I'm doing this is there's a little bit of experimentation going on in terms of trying to find out if I can stream to both places and maintain a stable connection. Twitch is telling me my connection is unstable, but I'm not sure I'm buying it right now. What does YouTube say? Please use a keyframe frequency. Okay, hold on a minute. Current keyframe. Hang on, what does this say? Keyframe frequency. Okay, so I've got a setting to change. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna come back to here while I play. Give me a minute. That's an output setting, I think. Let's see. Keyframe interval. This should be set for 2. Okay. That ought to help. 2 is what I have it on set on my machine upstairs. Okay, let's try that. Let's see if that shuts up. Yeah, it was just giving me an error over on YouTube. Cool, I didn't know that setting existed. I'm still learning how to stream on YouTube, right? There's so much going on over here. It's like there's a whole lot of things that I got to learn. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. I think that has finally fixed it. I had a setting that was not set correctly. Lemming with the resub.
You son of a bitch, you did.
Hey, Living.
Thank you much. Welcome. Okay, let's get back to this dude.
Yeah, you could switch the camera back to see if it fixed it.
Oh, yeah, I guess we can. All right, let's try it. It wasn't doing it earlier in the stream at all.
No, now it's...
Now it seems to be behaving. I think it was that keyframe setting. Yeah. I think it's fixed itself
Yeah,
now.
I think it's good.
I think it's good. Okay.
Good evening, Gaelic.
All right. Let's get back to this dude.
Hey, Lemming.
Yeah, guys, no, seriously. If it doesn't look good, tell me. It's fine. I'm not going to be upset. Right? Especially on a night like tonight where we're just kind of in here derping around, like it's
BSing.
yeah, like it's no big deal.
Yep.
Right? There will come a time, hopefully, fingers crossed, that I'll be streaming in here and it will be very clear that that's, you know, there'll be times that, you know, don't interrupt me doing that one, you know? But for now, it's fine.
I forgot how comfy these chairs could be,
They're very comfy.
especially if I've been standing up for the
Very
last-
comfy. Oh, you can see this guy's face. Just barely. So, he's got this giant thing over his eyes, and you can see like this. Do me a favor, look up there, find me a really... I'm gonna make this guy like
Pale?
super pale.
Pale?
Yeah, find me like a really pale flesh tone.
Okay, let's see.
That Crusader skin was very brown. Do we have something lighter?
Pallid bone?
No.
No, it's a little yellow. Let's see. Hang on a sec. Give me a sec.
Yeah, see what you can find. It's not critical right this second. I can work on something else.
I mean, to be honest, I'd probably combine a couple of colors, but...
Actually, I should go ahead and get it done now if we can. Oh, wait, what's this? That's pastel. No, no, no.
Okay.
Ah, the peachy flesh. This will be fun.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to make him albino, but like she was the jumper miniature was very clearly like
Like Storm.
like Storms. Like she had darker skin and like a shock of white hair, like a white mohawk.
Yeah.
This guy on the artwork, you cannot see his face, but I can just look at this guy, right? You can't even see his skin, and even his face and his head are covered in this giant helmet. He's super pale. I'm calling it right now. He's like the whitest white boy that ever lived. So we'll put this super peachy color, light colored flesh on him and see how it comes out.
2, 4.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be perfect. That's exactly what we needed. And I don't need a ton of it. He doesn't even really have defined facial features. You can just barely see his chin and where his mouth would be.
When you get done with that, I'll show you Xanda's
Okay.
message. I should have showed it to you earlier. Well, I mean, the sickly kind of pale skin makes sense if somebody who has got that many enhancements.
Enhancements is a good word for it.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Didn't need much. You can barely see it. Like I barely even noticed it when I pick up the miniature. That is good news. Okay. Let's get on. I'm going to do this green color for the undershirt. And then I'll do the brown for all this leather. He's got like a leather, like a leather strap. All this stuff on his back and everything. And then we'll do black for the coat. I feel like she's got like big elbow pads. I feel like I should do something slightly different here.
Maybe do a gray.
I might do those in the green just to make them stand out a little bit.
Makes sense.
They're done in kind of a light gray here, but I don't, well, you know what? What if I got up there?
What?
I'm gonna grab like a light gray. Because he's got shoulder pads too. But the problem is I've already put the bright red on the shoulders. I'm gonna have to come into the shoulders with something dark to cover up the red that I've spilled everywhere. This is the reality I'm up against. Let me see here. About a little, about a very, very dark blue, maybe? I don't know. I don't know that I like that. Do I have a very, very dark green? Yeah, here we go. Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know that there's enough difference.
You know, that's already... I'm going to make that his coat color.
So what I might
No, I'm not.
Mac has a good idea.
What do you got?
Darker base coat and then hit the edges with a dry brush with a lighter color.
That'll be good. Okay, so maybe I'll just, you know what, that's what I'll do. I'll just come back, I'll leave them, I'll paint them black, and then I'll just come back and hit them with a light dry brush, just the shoulder pads and that arm guard.
Yep.
That'll be good.
Yep.
We'll do that. Okay, that'll work. It allows me to keep going tonight. All right, let us start in on the shirt. I'd show you the miniature, but basically the pale flesh of his face is, it took seconds to do, and you can't even, you'll have a hard time seeing it when I put it on here. Because of the angle that the camera is pointing down, you won't even see that. Like if you weren't holding this miniature, you wouldn't see it. I'd probably have to hold it here. Yeah, let's do that. If I hold it up to here, you can just sort of make it.
You'll have to pull it back.
Nope, nope, because it's manually focused.
Yeah.
So that's not even going to work. I'll show you guys later. When we're done with it, I'll show it to you. There's not much to it, really.
Maybe take pictures and throw them up on Twitter.
Maybe.
I do props, generally, Xanda. I did all of my stuff for Hera.
Okay. All right. I have to figure out what I'm going to paint. Man. I feel like he should have...
What you thinking?
Well, I'm looking at this miniature now. So... he's got like a sash thing that comes down in front. The undershirt, under the jacket, and the sash I'm going to do in this green. He's got like a belt around his waist that I'll do in the brown. But then he's got his pants. The pants I should do in like a light gray. See, there's like a light gray up there.
Okay.
I think the one all the way, I think it's this one all the way on the end, maybe.
You want to go that light?
Yeah, I want to go really light.
Okay.
What is that one called?
Runic?
Runic gray. Yeah, that's the one I want. That's it. This is what I used in all my Smoked Jaguar mechs, so I know this color very, very well. I used a lot of it.
Oh, I
Yep.
took off my glasses. I can't see.
Yep, I used a lot. Oh, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, I used a lot of this color.
Cab, I can. The one I built, I think the rechargeable batteries are dead, but
Oh man, I love this color.
let me go see if I can find it.
You know where they all stored.
I know.
Okay.
Off my mic for a minute.
Okay.
Y'all need to hear me.
Rooting around. Yep, that's true. Woo! This is exciting. I love this shade of green. This green is like olive drab green almost. It's pretty. Having her here to read chat is so helpful. Because while I'm painting, I can't look at chat. Damn. Okay, I want to keep off of. This is fine. Let's keep all this that color. Bring on BattleTech. I know, Greifer. How you been, my friend? They were asking me earlier about the mechs I've got on the table. But we're not painting mechs tonight, unfortunately. At some point in the future, though, I will paint mechs on stream, but not tonight. I'm gonna have to get a smaller brush now to work into some of this stuff. You've been good, yeah. Life is okay. Life is okay. We've been doing the adulting thing. I get up, I go to work, I come home, I stream. You know, yay. So I've kind of made a small error on this guy. It's not catastrophic, but it is something that I was actively warning myself against earlier, and I've done it anyway. And that is I have come back in and put an extra coat in a couple of spots that I really shouldn't have, and you can tell because now it like looks blotchy. You'll see it on the Mini when I put it on the zoom in a bit. I'm gonna have to hit this with a slightly thinner coat to kind of cover up some of the error here. See if I can blot it out so you can't tell quite as much. I had this bad habit. I sort of learned to paint with traditional paints, and the technique for that is a little different than this, and I have to remind myself constantly I don't need to come back and add another layer. It's not necessary for what I'm doing. Just get paint on the surface, push it around to the right places, and then call it a day. And I keep forgetting that particular message. But that's all right. Again, from a distance, it'll look fine. So I'll show you where we're at here real quick. Doop. Doop. What mechs did you do for him, Gaelic? I'm curious. I mean, I'm sure it was filthy spheroid crap. Hip Operation over on YouTube. You're welcome. I'm glad that was helpful. Rune is a tough ship to learn. And she comes at a point in the line where she shouldn't. I mean, let's be honest. She really shouldn't. There's so many other things that should go in that spot, and Rune is not it. Rune is like, we went back to tier 6 and we took that hull design and we added 8-inch guns on it, but did some other thing. It's just it's so bizarre. It's no wonder that ship confuses the crap out of people, right? Because the 7, 8, and 10 are brawlers. Rune is not a brawler. She doesn't want to be. She's not equipped for it. Her armor's okay, but she doesn't have the torpedo armament to be a brawler, not truthfully. And so, like, it just, whenever I see people try to brawl with that ship, I'm like, oh, do you really know what you're doing? Are you really, oh, we're getting in trouble, like, you know? So. All right.
Fire the one poppin' I bought.
Well, you knew that. That's the one on the dresser in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had that taken apart for a while because you knew that was going to have to happen.
Yeah. Well, I had hoped it was just the batteries, but it's not.
This is a lighter brown than I expected it to be. Well, we'll see how it comes out. The good news is this brown and this green, I'm kind of bleeding them over onto each other in a couple of spots, but they're so close tonally that it's really not that big a deal. So that's encouraging. That means it doesn't look quite as crap as I was expecting it to. And that's nice. All right, let's work on this strap on the back here. This is a much bigger piece of leather. I hear her having fun. I hear it making noise. Here she comes. You can turn your micro back on now. Come out here where they can see it.
This is actually one of my Ultra Sabers.
Yeah, I know. You only own like 6.
4.
Nah, it's
5.
gotta be. I was gonna say.
5.
I was like, I know 4 is not right. Come out here on the camera. That way they can see that it's reacting. That
Yeah.
accelerometer does its job.
Yeah, it's a little. I think there we go. I don't have the blade in it, so it's. Yeah. Where's the camera at? There it is.
You're on the wide angle.
So I have 2 of these for my Sentinel costume. And then I've got another kit upstairs that I would have to go and find for Master Orgus's saber from SWTOR.
Yeah, that was a kit you bought, but it was like a kit to assemble, and you haven't actually assembled it yet, right?
Yeah, because I've been lazy.
Well, you've had other things going on too. Like, I
yeah.
get it.
I have to buy the entire, like, innards for it. It's just the hilt. So I haven't taken the time. And the technology, there for a while, the technology was changing so quickly. I didn't want to invest in the parts and then 2 weeks later regret what I had purchased. So.
Reasonable.
Oh, it's not really in all my glory. Today's a ponytail day and I've been to Pilates, so I am far from glorious today. But
This guy's coming out better. I don't think my hand is any steadier. I just think these colors are more forgiving.
I could go up and get my my Hera props and show those off for paint
You should be
job.
proud of those. Those came out nice.
Yeah.
Because you painted the pistol, didn't you?
Painted the pistol, the goggles, and Hera's armor, the 2 plates that go over her feet.
Right.
Thank you, Gaelic. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I have a hilt that I bought from Jawa's Junkyard, and it is his first attempt at Master Orgus's saber from SWTOR. So I forget what the equivalent is that you can get. It used to be a PvP reward. I don't remember now what it is, but
All right, so the leather is still drying, but pretty much everything else on this, I'm going to do a light gray on the pants, which I'll probably go ahead and do now, and then we'll do the jacket in a black.
I'm not the boss, Gaelic.
Oh, I disagree completely. Yeah, no, I disagree.
It's a shared household around here most of the time.
Gaelic's got one for you. He wants to know if you paint miniatures.
No. I've threatened to. I told him I was doing Batgirl.
I do need to get around to painting all those at some point.
Yeah.
That Batman game has like 200 bloody miniatures in it.
Yeah. I do a lot of props. I do a lot of sewing. But I don't do a lot of gaming with figures. So I don't do a lot of painting. I've done a little bit of work on some of the BattleTech stuff when he's been down here screwing around with it, but no, not Satele. It's Master, the one that you get, the master that teaches you when you do the Knight class story, which is
He's like your first mentor on Tython, isn't he?
on Tython, yeah.
Yeah.
Orgus Din. The cranky old Jedi. He's the one you get for the Knight story, which is Guardian or Sentinel. I don't even paint my nails, Gaelic. I work with my hands.
She barely wears makeup.
Yeah.
The only time I see you put on makeup is when we dress up on cruises.
Yep. Or when we go do like a 40 swing
Yeah, that's
thing
true.
or whatever.
You go for the victory rolls and all that, which is fun. I love it when you put the time in to do that because it's a really good look for you.
Yeah, but it does take forever.
Oh, it's a ton of time. Trust me, I've watched you do it enough. I know how much time it takes.
Yeah.
But it's still a good look for you.
Thank you. I look a lot like my great-grandmother when I do that.
See, that was all I wanted on the pants. Just a splash of color. Just enough so they're not going to be the same color as the jacket.
Yeah.
Didn't do much here. We just hit the pants with a little bit of light gray. Just to give them so they'll stand out as their own color amongst the whole scheme. So now we're going to come back and do... I think I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the... Oh, you dumbass. Of course. I'm going to come back and do the rest. The thing is that color is so light, I don't think it's going to matter. Come back and go ahead and hit the rest of the jacket and everything else in that dark black, and then we'll see what's left that we might want to do some touch-up on. But I think I'm going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, we didn't get our walk in today.
No, we didn't. But we're going to have pretty good weather up until... Well, we're going to pretty good weather all week. Like, it's not going to rain.
Well, it's harder to get stuff done on string nights anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true.
It was 83 degrees here.
Yeah, it was like 80 days. It's a pretty warm way. It was like 80 in Omaha today, right? My brother-in-law lives up in Nebraska, and it was about the same temperature there as it was here.
Yeah.
It happens. Weather's weird. Weather does whatever it wants. It doesn't care what you think.
Yeah, the Texas weather has been looking at Georgia and saying, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, the Army Painter speed paints do really well with stuff that has small crevices on it because it just fills them in just so nice. So when I looked at the texture on the pants, I was like, oh yeah, these paints are going to be perfect for the pants, and it turned out brilliantly. So now we just got to do the rest of the miniature, which is basically the jacket here. We'll start low. I'm learning to start low and work up. It's taking me some time to remember that's how I should be doing this.
Yeah, my brother's had quite the
Winter?
adjustment to make.
Oh yeah,
Moving from the Pacific Northwest
to Nebraska.
to Nebraska.
I think adjustment is a polite way of putting it.
Yes. Gaelic, we have done SWOTOR together. I keep trying to get him to pull that back up.
Yeah, we have done before. We did the Knight story,
Yep,
and then we did the Sith warrior story.
I think so.
Yeah, that was the one where I basically played a light side Sith warrior, which
Yeah.
was fascinating.
Yep.
That was way more fun. The Jedi story was boring as crap. The Sith
like-
story was fun as hell.
See, the other thing for me is that I think Shadow of Revan is a good story. Mm-hmm. And you haven't played that yet.
No, I never have. I keep telling myself I want to get through all of the base stories for all of the original 8 classes
Yep.
before I kind of dive into much else, right?
Yep.
So maybe that's weird of me, but that's where I keep coming back. Son of a... Oh man, there's something in here that I should paint green. I'm not sure. I'm not brave. All right. Well, we're gonna paint around it for now.
League City is not bad. I lived in Seabrook for a number of years after I got out of the Navy. So,
A year.
a year. You're right. It was a year.
A year, almost to the day.
Yep.
And, you
And
went-
then I moved
then you
home
Then you went
and-
back to Georgia.
Yeah.
And we got married about 6-8 months later.
Amira Luca, sniper.
Okay. I don't know who designed this part of the miniature, but they should be shot. Like, I can't even get to the inside of this guy's jacket to paint it. This is frustrating as crap.
Your angle brush.
Yeah, but there's so little paint on that thing. Like, ugh. I mean, nobody's really going to see this, but I do want to paint it.
You were supposed to paint that first.
Well, my problem is I'm going light colors to dark colors because of the way speed paints work. So that's an intentional choice that I've made. But it means that in an instance like this, it's a little pain in the ass. To put it lightly. Okay. We'll be here, I promise. I'm frankly just excited to actually be putting paint on plastic again because I've been so bad about it for the last couple of years. Well, actually, I had a lot of wind in my sails in 22. And then last year, or was it beginning of last year? I think it was beginning of last year, maybe. Had a lot of wind in my sails to do some of this stuff. And then it just kind of fell apart. Other things took precedence. I got frustrated with the setup in here and then just stopped. So some of that's on me. Well, a lot of it's on me. Well, all of it's on me. That's been a long time, Gaelic. That's been at least coming up on 2 years since I was getting into the Nemesis paint stuff that I was working on. That was a frustrating night, too. If you remember that night, I struggled to get that color quite where I wanted it. The end result came out nice. I still managed to get paint on the stupid pants. I did a paint stream last summer where I tried to work on some of the starships, the spaceship models from ISS Vanguard. And we made a little bit of progress, and I wrote down a whole bunch of notes. I basically washed them all when I was done so I could redo them. But I made a bunch of notes, wrote down all the colors, selections we had made. That was kind of a very loosey-goosey, like, you know, let's work on picking colors. I had pictures of the artwork to look at. Hey, let's pick some colors and try to find out what works. And that was a fun stream, but after I washed all the miniatures, I never went back to actually paint any of them again. I got frustrated with the setup in here and then got busy with other things and just kind of kept talking myself out of it. In fact, those miniatures are still on the shelf behind me. I can pull them up if you want to see them. There's not much to it. They're all clean again. What did you go find? Yeah, I think that Jin's Blaster you did looks really good. I think that's one of your best.
I need to do some touch up on it, but it's not.
It still looks good. Here, come around behind me.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yep. And I put the camera on tight so you can I'll be able to see better what you've got in your hands.
I'm sticking to the carpet.
Yes.
Yes. So. Yeah. This was my Jin Urso blaster. I thought that I had the one with the spring-loaded trigger, but I guess I didn't.
I don't think so.
Anyway, I put that together from a kit.
That one's resin? Or 3D print?
3D print.
Okay.
And then Hera's goggles.
Come over up here. Up. There you go.
And then,
Like put right in front of the lamp. Would be perfect.
so you can't see it, but it's got a lot of detail. Like when you watch the cartoon, there's like there's a lot of texturing in the cartoon that they put on her headset with all the speckles and shading and stuff like that. And I did a little of that on here, but can't really see it on the camera. So, anyway. But that's the type of stuff that I paint.
Yep. She doesn't do minis.
Yep. I got my...
God bless it.
Like such. Doesn't look the same if I'm not green.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. As expected,
As
by the way.
expected. Yes. I haven't streamed in...
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been 2 or 3 years.
Would have been the last time we did SWOTOR, probably.
Yeah. I still need to rework how these go on my head, but considering I can't wear the costume right now, it's just kind of a moot point. But yeah, Jen's blaster turned out pretty good.
Mm-hmm. That whole costume came out nice.
Yeah, my Jen Urso and my Hera are... If I cared enough, I could probably have done 501st or Rebel Legion. But I haven't cared enough.
Those guys are a little crazy.
Well, there are some individuals in the organization that give it a very bad name, and...
Well, I know. But, like, there's some real weird gatekeeping
yes, there is...
schmucks in that community.
There are a
Both
lot of
of
jokes there, yes.
And I'm just kind of like, I don't need your I don't need your permission to have fun as a cosplayer.
Yes.
So, bye. I look at what they do, and I'm kind of like, you guys do great work for charities. I love all of that. You've got a lot of cool things going for you that you do, and a great connection and a great relationship with Lucasfilm. But like, you really kind of shouldn't treat people like jerks just because not everybody has the time or the money or the inclination to do it the way you think that they should.
Yeah.
Their standards are, frankly, kind of crazy.
Well, I understand wanting to go for accuracy, but the problem is that too many of us, our skills are not necessarily up to that challenge, and we do not have the budget of a costuming department.
Bingo.
But, I try and be as accurate as I can within reason, within my skill set. And to be honest, with each costume, I learn something new. There is a new process that I learn. I went through, 2 iterations of Black Widow, and I learned how to kind of make my own bodysuit pattern and how to, when I learned how to use a serger. That was when we were living in Canada.
Yep, I remember.
That serger came all the way from Quilt Show all the way to Newfoundland.
And back.
And back again. There and back again.
Well, bollocks.
Let's skip.
Oh, I just painted over something that should have been brown with black. But at this point, I don't care.
All blends. On the other hand, I've got 3 or 4 friends that are members of Legion, and they are fantastic people. The people in their garrison are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And if I could be members of their garrisons, I would probably do it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So... Because at least one of them lives in Kanukistan.
That's true.
Oh, no, I know. There's no shame at all in that. My Hera took me about a year.
You spent a long time on that outfit.
And
All right, show you where we're at. Go ahead.
some of that was because We had a hurricane in the middle of it, and
Oh, yeah.
Dragon. We didn't make it to Dragon Con that year.
Still drying, of course, but that's where we're at for the moment. She's coming together. I need to still put some color on the toes, and I think I've decided I want a dark metallic color for that headpiece.
I don't.
Why not?
Oh, no. Necro said I miss hurricanes. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, no, hard pass. I don't know. I'm good, thanks.
Harvey left a very nasty.
Harvey pretty much cured everybody in this part of the world from hurricanes for a long time.
Yeah.
As if Ike hadn't done that 9 years before.
Yeah. I think people were starting to get over for the trauma from Ike and then Harvey.
Yeah. No, Cab, we will not be doing wing-toed boots. It's ridiculous. All right, let's
It
see.
does. It does indeed.
Okay, I shouldn't need a lot of this stuff.
You know, basically what I need to do on this thing is come in and do a little black wash over the...
Yes,
Some of the
a little bit of
details.
wash would put some more detail on it. You'd like
Yeah.
that. You'd like the end result of doing that, I think.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna like this. Yeah, this is gonna look good.
What question, Xanda? Sorry. Oh, your Stream Elements is still barking for the museum.
Oh, I'll turn that off in a minute. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop while I've got paint on my brush, but I'll take care of it in a sec.
Yeah. Raptor does.
What? Who?
Trek Online.
I have before. It's not my favorite game. It's not the worst. Every now and then, I had a spell where about every couple of years I would go back to it for a spell, but I haven't done that since probably early 2020. Pre-pandemic, I have not picked up Trek Online.
DE, where are you in Alberta, if I may ask? And it's okay if you
Declined.
decline.
Perfectly acceptable.
Gaelic, it's the game behind him. It's called Into Deep. It is a cyberpunk tabletop board game. The game itself comes with cardboard, like little standees, and he invested in the Kickstarter, so
I got miniatures,
he got miniatures.
which means I gotta paint shit. Damn it!
Yeah, cyberpunk.
Yes, definitely a cyberpunk game. The whole premise of the game is that you are future law enforcement using cybernetic implants to jack in and observe criminals through their implants as they commit crimes to gather evidence. And you have the potential of delving too deep in the dark, as Gandalf might say, and not coming home again. Or becoming corrupted.
And yes, Griefer, that is the exact connotation.
I would have stepped on something undesirable. I'm gonna. Oh, see, now I can see where my fingerprints hit this leg. I'm gonna hit. There's a couple places I need to touch up with the black on the jacket, and then I'm gonna hit with the runic gray to fix up the
britches.
The britches.
I think the one thing that might motivate me to get off my butt and actually get exercising again will be getting back into my freaking costumes.
Yeah, I need to finish up. I've got some work to do to finish up Krennic, right? Because I finally got all my Krennic, but I need to stop and get boots and all kinds of other bits, right?
Yeah. Well, I can't wear Hera, and I sure as shit can't wear Jen.
Or Widow.
Or Widow. Ugh, no. I wouldn't subject anyone to that spandex right now.
I'm not even sure I could get into Hawkeye right now. I'm put on so much weight.
I actually had I was a Pilates instructor. I was working on my certification at one point, and I did have a subscription to Fabletics, and it was actually really good stuff. But COVID hit, and that got put to the wayside, and then it just got too expensive to continue. So now I just go to class instead of trying to teach it. Griefer, no. Tim Tams are the last thing I need.
Tim Tams? No, we don't need Tim Tams.
Any more than I need any Jaffa cakes, and those are some of my favorites.
She loves Jaffa cakes.
I love Jaffa cakes.
You can get this woman to do anything for Jaffa cakes.
Just about.
Just about.
Yeah.
Just about anything for a Jaffa cake. What would you do for a Jaffa cake?
Yeah. I like the squidgy bits in the middle. Yeah, Cab. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that, like, somewhere along the way your metabolism changes and they don't give you the memo. So then you got to figure out what the hell it is to lose the weight, because what you did before when you were in your 20s and 30s just doesn't work anymore. So, yeah. Necro, what does he do for a living?
Me?
Yeah.
So
I was asking for clarification.
I just want to make sure we're answering the right question.
Yeah. Gaelic. Just what you need. Yes, that's what he
Yeah,
does.
okay, yes. So my degree is in, I have only a bachelor's. I am not educated enough that I need a master's degree, blessedly. I'm not overeducated. I have a bachelor's degree in
Don't speak Latin.
Marine Engineering Technology from Texas A&M University at Galveston, which I tell people is a really fancy way of saying, God bless it, mechanical engineering for ships and offshore structures. When I first got out of school, I worked for the Navy for a few years, building ships for the Navy, and that lasted about 4 years, and then I decided there wasn't enough money for me in government contracting, or at least not in like direct government contracting. So I think it's time for a new paper towel. So I left that particular gig and went to work and did some fun, some sillier, fancier stuff for various 3-letter agencies for a few years. I was never on anything classified. I was never on anything that fun, but I was adjacent to some people that worked on a lot of that stuff, and they looked like they were having fun. In 2007, I came back to work in Houston. I got a job working for offshore oil and gas, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So 17 years now? 17 years. The pay is much better in the private sector. The opportunities are much better in the private sector. Oil and gas has been really, really good. I have thoroughly enjoyed the work that I've been able to do. I think...
Lemming, let me know your secret.
What is what? Damn, Lemming. Seriously. Necro is the one in Alberta?
No, Necro is active duty still, I think.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know. It depends. What are you doing now, Necro?
DE was the one in Alberta.
Oh, it's D. D's in Alberta. Okay, all right. Oh, he's up in Washington State. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what you're doing.
Everybody had to deal with the fallout from Deepwater Horizon.
So, Cab, the short answer is no. However, the long answer is kind of. Here's what I mean. At the time, Macondo, which is how we refer to it, Macondo was the drilling prospect. At the time Macondo happened, It was spring of 2010. And I had been in the business about 3 years. And at the time, I was working on drilling facilities design, right? Literally, that was what I'd been doing since I got back. So at the time, I was working on a big Exxon project that was going to the Russian Far East. I can't get underneath this guy from here. Stupid thing off the base. And Macondo was a big deal for us because the Exxon management we had on the project didn't understand what had happened, didn't understand what it meant, and was super mega ultra concerned, could that happen to us? And of course, the short answer to all of these things, the short answer to all of those questions is absolutely, right? It can absolutely happen to you because just, within a day of Macondo happening, pretty much everybody in my line of work knew what had happened, okay? They had had some kind of failure, the blowout preventer had failed, and they lost control of the well. With enough human error, that is always possible, and it always will be. There's nothing you can do about it. One of the things that you learn in my line of work very quickly, and this is really just engineering in general, but certainly in offshore oil and gas, where you're dealing with hydrocarbons all the time, is you can only engineer a system to be safe to a point, okay? Past a certain point, the men in the field operating it have to operate it correctly the way you have designed it, or God only knows what's going to happen, okay? When we work on one of these jobs, we go through probably the better part of 2 years of engineering design. Now, that's the jobs that I work on. A rig like Deepwater Horizon is a little different. But the rigs that I work on, typically the platforms I work on, generally you go through anywhere from 18 to 24 months of design. Along the way, you have a variety of checks and what we call HAZOP reviews, where you will sit down and you will go line by line through a system and look for failure points, okay? And literally, can you engineer it out? What can we do? If we haven't engineered it out, what can we do? What do we need to do? Do we need to write it in procedure? Do I need to put a safety valve somewhere else that prevents this? Whatever. You're always looking for ways to do that. But at the end of the day, thousands of man hours can all go out the door in an instant if the guy in the field isn't paying attention, screws up, or makes bad decisions, or some combination of the three, right? Which, of course, is what absolutely happened. Kinger's right, risk management, but which is absolutely what happened with Macondo. If you guys have actually seen the Deepwater Horizon film that Donnie Wahlberg or Mark, one of the Wahlberg brothers, I can't remember which one.
It was Mark Wahlberg.
Whatever. One of the Wahlberg brothers made this movie. It's got Kurt Russell in it. He plays a great OIM. He was fabulous. Yeah. But that movie is actually fairly accurate. Like what happened, right? They were in a hurry. They did not want to take the time to do the job correctly. They sent home the crew who could have verified the cement job had been done correctly. And their blowout preventer had not, I think by reports, had not been maintained properly. And so there was this, it was my father, who worked in this business for like 40 years, loves to talk about Swiss cheese, right? When you put safeguards, you have something bad over here you want to happen. You don't want to happen, right? And over here you have humans. And so what you do is you put all of these different layers in between the human and the bad thing you don't want to happen, whatever it is. The trick is that every single one of these layers is imperfect, right? Otherwise you could just do it with one. So every single one of these layers somewhere has a hole. Think of it like a slice of Swiss cheese, right? There's a hole somewhere in the slice. And somehow, if the dumb human or circumstances allow for all the holes to line up in just the right way, you can still find a way to catastrophic conclusion, right? That you're trying to prevent. So, there's literally no way you can engineer out all risk. It's not possible. You can reduce it, of course, as much as you can, but you can't make it all go away. When Macondo happened, I was working on this big Exxon job, and we had all these meetings within the first 10 days, and they were freaked. Could this happen to us? Yeah, that could happen to us. What do you mean this could happen to us? I said, fellas, we're all sitting in a meeting. I'm not the one telling them this, but it's like we're all going, guys, you have a blowout preventer that is designed to prevent a blowout, okay? you know, and they didn't understand what a blowout was. And I said, okay, and we were kind of like, okay, so let's go back to the fundamentals.
Drilling 101.
Like, let's go back to the beginning, okay? When you are drilling a well, the fluid that you are trying to reach is under pressure, right? It has millions of tons of rock and water or whatever pressing down on it, and you're creating a hole, a conduit for it to find a way to a place of lower pressure, right? Yes. Okay. So while we're drilling, we put fluid in the column, in the hole while we're drilling, that resists that pressure. So you have a 12-inch bore or whatever it is, 8 inches, 5 inches, and you have thousands of feet of dense fluid that at the bottom of the hole are counteracting that pressure. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if you screw up your calculations and you do your job badly, the hydrocarbon wants to escape at all times. The blowout preventer is here to prevent that. But if you don't do your job maintaining it correctly, again, all of these things can fail. And so what happened? Could it happen to you? It could absolutely happen to you. How do you prevent it? Don't hire dumb people. I don't know. What do you want from me, right? Like,
follow up on your maintenance. Follow your procedures. Do
the maintenance. Follow the procedures. Hire a good drilling company who won't take stupid risks. Like, what do you want from me? Can it happen? It can happen anywhere in the world at any moment. But there's a whole lot of people who get paid a whole lot of money to make sure that it doesn't happen, right?
Yep. Well, and I did emergency management for a time. And again, you come back to,
precisely.
Yeah. You come back to, you can only plan for so many things. At some point, you will have some sort of failure.
Absolutely.
And then it becomes a matter of knowing what to do, having enough knowledge in the area to troubleshoot, and mitigating the effects of whatever happens.
There was one significant engineering change that I know of that came out of Macondo. Blowout preventers are nothing more than it's a piece of equipment, you drill through it. In other words, it's just an annular, right? A big hole. And there are rams on either side with big shears. Imagine giant steel shears, right? Imagine it like a chisel, okay? But this chisel is made of high tensile steel, and it's designed to be physically pressed through thick diameter pipe at extremely high pressure to sever it, okay?
And seal it up.
And so that if it all falls in the crapper, this is your fail-safe, okay? To keep the pressure where it belongs, keep the pressure contained. However,
that's so true, Grant.
That's exactly right, Grant. However, it has long been known, an accepted risk, let's say, in the drilling industry, that you could not sever. Most rams, I don't know of any rams actually, that would actually sever through a pipe joint. What does that mean? Imagine I have two pipes that are threaded, and I want to thread them together. So one end is female, one end is male, and I'm going to thread them together, okay? When you do that around your house, the two pipes are probably the same diameter, and you're looking at very, very small threads. Okay. When you do this with drilling pipe that is designed to contain tens of thousands of PSI of pressure, that joint is fairly beefy, such that the pipe will come up and it will flare out to a wider diameter to make the joint connection. So of a 30-foot long section of pipe, imagine, let's say 4 inches. I'm picking a number. I don't know what the number is. But the 4 inches at either end are like an extra 1.5 inches thick to accommodate the threads that you have to screw together to keep the pipes going. You pretty much could not design BOPs that would be able to, if it just happened that the rams fell over that pipe joint, that extra thick portion, they wouldn't go through. And you had multiple rams in a stack specifically so that if one ram failed, the one right below it would be able to do it. Because if the joint is here and this one fails, then fine, the joint's not down here, we're good to go, right? Most of them have, most subsea BOPs are four series of rams. In Macondo's instance, they had literally the perfect storm of failure, right? You managed to hit one of these joints that jammed one of the rams and prevented it from closing. And then you had, on top of that, you had one of the other sets of rams just failed completely and like only partly closed. It was like this, again, the Swiss cheese of failure. They found the hole, right? The perfect Swiss cheese of failure, and it all came apart. So yeah, Macondo at the time was a big deal. As I've gotten, as we go deep, as the industry has, I've been doing this for a long time now. It's not as big a thing, but for a few years it absolutely cast a long shadow. The worst to come out of it was the Obama era restrictions on Gulf Coast drilling. They basically killed the drilling, they basically killed the oil and gas business in the Gulf Coast for the better part of a decade, and we're still paying the still paying the dividends for that, basically, right? There's going to be a reckoning in my business at some point in the next decade or so that it's going to be a bit of a mess from a personnel perspective. I'm trying to turn off the museum advertisement, which we don't need right now. Oh, it was a timer. It's going to be at the bottom. There we go. Turn that one off. Thank you. So anyways, Macondo was interesting. But living through it, I would prefer not to do that again. It was just it was a lot of hassle and a lot of extra meetings for very little gain. All right, let's show you where we landed on the drone jack. I think he came out pretty nice. I put a little bit of metallic on the head. Give him a little more color. Got those light color on the pants. And then the green and the brown and the red highlights. I think he came out okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, from this distance, I'm what, 24 inches away? He looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. When I put him under the magnifying glass, I can see all of the imperfections. But for table ready, he suffices.
Kinger, that's what my father does, automation and controls. Or did. He retired.
I'm actually very proud. I'm actually very happy with this miniature.
That one turned out pretty good.
He came out very, very nice. I'm a little less happy with the first one, but he came out really good.
You're being a little too harsh on yourself.
I probably am. Again, from this distance, she looks fine.
From this distance, she looks fine.
Yeah, so I just have to, again, like I was saying, guys, I'm this perfectionist, right? So I have to constantly kind of fight my own nature. Yeah, I know. This was fun. I'm probably gonna hang it up. It's not quite 3 hours, but I don't want to get started on another one. It's gonna take me an hour probably to do another one, and I don't want to start that process. However, I've got 8 more miniatures to do, so I may come back and do some more of this week. I might do it on my own. I might do it on camera. I don't know. I think there's some value in doing it on camera. I think that might be kind of fun. But we'll figure it out. In the meantime, like I was saying earlier at the stream, guys, I've got to spend some time doing work in here. We've got some cleaning to do. I've got to redo the LED lights behind all of this. I know one of the questions that folks have had for a while is when we're going to get around to doing board game streams. My target right now is still summer. We're taking some time off in April. And at some point, you guys probably heard, if you follow competitive boats, you probably will, Cab. If you follow competitive boats, you know that they recently announced there will not be King of the Sea in the spring. There will be a Warship Masters Invitational, but there won't be a King of the Sea. So Zath and I will end up doing some tournament coverage at some point, but it will not be like, 4 or 5 weekends of it all together. That's going to give me some opportunity to get prepped in here and get off my butt and get some things going. I've got more than enough games on the shelves here that all I really need to do is come down, set up some cameras, figure out what art assets I need, and start making it happen. You know what? I'm sitting here looking at this.
What?
My glasses. The dark washes that I have over here from GW would be perfect for this.
Probably, yeah.
Because I did this on my Nemesis game. I painted the bases this silver color and then washed them over with a dark, and it filled in the crevices like oil. They look like they're oil stained, right? They look really good.
Yeah.
That's probably what you should. That would be a good look for that. Those exhaust ports there.
It's a really nice kit.
Any relation? I'm not following the question, Gaelic. Any relation from Horizon and Piper Alpha? I think you're asking, are the two incidents similar? Is that what you're asking? I don't remember what caused Piper Alpha. I remember what caused Ocean Ranger. Okay, so I understand your question correctly, Gaelic. I remember what happened with Ocean Ranger. Twill Newfie will probably be very familiar with Ocean Ranger. That happened in his neck of the woods. You're gonna make me go look up Piper Alpha. I remember Piper Alpha being North Sea. Let's see, Piper Alpha, but I forget precisely what caused it. I don't believe Piper Alpha was a drilling facility. I believe it was a production platform.
I was fixing to say, is that production?
I'm pretty sure it was. I gotta zoom this in. Give me a minute. Oh, that's much better. Okay, back to a lot of London upgrades, events. Here we go. Okay,
Pumps pressure safely valve.
Oh, I think I see what's about to happen. Yep. So as I'm reading the description of Piper Alpha, Gaelic, the answer is going to be no. Deepwater Horizon was a drilling accident, right? Absolutely 100% a loss of containment while drilling a well. It was a blowout. When you basically, and that's what a blowout is. A blowout is uncontrolled, unrestrained flow of hydrocarbon from the reservoir to the surface where it probably is burning. It probably ignited and is making a big mess. Now, Piper Alpha is different as I'm reading through this description. Piper Alpha is a failure of... the failure list here is relatively long, and it has to do with miscommunications in lockout-tagout procedures, and has nothing to do with drilling. This is they're talking about condensate pumps. So this is a production platform that they obviously made some kind of errors along the way with regards to maintenance and notification procedures, and at some point they basically reintroduced hydrocarbons to a pump that had been earlier taken out of service. But the conditions under which it had been taken out of service were not noted and were not widely... In other words, it wasn't written down on the permit. So the people who came on the shift later in the day, they weren't able to complete the work, and so they just left it kind of disassembled. But the permit that they had filed didn't explicitly list all the details and all the stuff they were going to do. And so the guys in the operations control room believed certain things that were not true of the actual pump in the field. And so when they tried to turn it on, or they tried to introduce hydrocarbons to it, that hydrocarbon spilled into the facility, and of course, at that point, all you have to do is find an ignition source, and you're done. Right?
Big bada boom.
Big bada boom, as Lilu would say. Yep. No, it's a good question. It's a fair question, Gaelic. Blowouts are not common, but they do happen. And of course, Deepwater was easily the most recognizable one in our lifetime. Like that's, you see them on land rigs, but a blowout on a land rig is way easier to deal with than a blowout in 5,000, 10,000 feet of water, right? Like that had never happened before. To my knowledge, no one had, up until Deepwater Horizon, no one had ever lost control of a deep water well. And now you see why you don't want to do that, because look how long it took them to fix the problem. Just a mess. Okay, guys, I'm going to hang it up. I wonder if Bonds is on. It's Monday night. I'm betting that Bonds is on. Let's go have a peek. I gotta click this button and then I can't see because the camera's in the way. You know what? I'm just gonna cheat.
Open another window.
Yeah, I'm just gonna open another window. There we go. Let's see if I can find Bonds. If I'm somebody else doing board game stuff, but usually on a Monday night she's around. Yep, she's doing board game stuff. So guys, if you like board game contents, we are going to be sending you over to a Bondsinator. I would highly encourage you to throw her a follow. She is a ton of fun. She's really good at what she does. She does a ton of work promoting games with other people. Like she just, I don't know if you know, you guys probably know, if you don't follow board games on YouTube, you probably don't know, but Tim Chuan does a lot of photography and video work for video games. I know Bonds goes down and helps him out with a lot of that stuff. She's fabulous. She's a lot of fun. So I would highly encourage you to throw her a follow. if you enjoy board games and you have not followed her before. Make sure I spelled it right. I still cannot. There, I finally put in the right word.
I was fixing to say, what are you doing?
Eventually, I'll get there.
Yeah.
Why did that not? Okay, apparently this failed. Let's try again. Thanks. Chat, what is that? There we go. Okay, guys, rate is up. There we go. Let me head back here for a minute. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for hanging out. Good chatting. I'm probably gonna. Yep, Ginger's over here waving goodbye. I'll probably do another one of these. I'll probably get back into a regular habit of doing this for a while. Not only is it some good content, but it helps kind of force me back into doing things. Yes, which needs to happen. So in the meantime, guys, y'all have a great week. Remember, if you want to come back for Warships later in the week, Wednesday night this week. Thursday I am busy, so Wednesday night will be boats, not Thursday. Otherwise, I'll see you guys when I see you. Y'all take care and have a good one.
Bye, y'all.